Chapter 1388. What justice? Xia Ping glanced at them. He wanted to spar with me but was defeated by me. You all still want justice? Defeated? Then why did senior brother Bien become like this? Hundreds of bones in his body were broken and he almost died. The Lingyun sect disciples gritted their teeth. They had never seen a spar that could turn Bien Haifan into such a state. It was as though he was about to die. Xia Ping shrugged. Fists and legs have no eyes. Who knew that he would be so weak? If I knew that he was so weak, I would have been gentler. He shrugged his shoulders. He was innocent and it wasn't his fault. Hearing this, the disciples of the Lingyun sect became even angrier. They were so angry that smoke was coming out of their nostrils. What was this bastard saying? He was clearly mocking the disciples of the Lingyun sect for being weak and unable to withstand a single blow. Many of the Jianghu sect's disciples felt extremely comfortable. Earlier, this group of Lingyun sect's disciples were extremely arrogant and even looked down on them for being weak, throwing the face of the Jianghu sect. Now the tables had turned. This was karma. Bastard. Bien Haifan was so angry that his face turned green and he clenched his fists. Especially since the Lingyun sect's saintess Yi Mengyao was here, he felt extremely humiliated and humiliated. He actually let the goddess see him in such a humiliating state. He really wanted to charge up and fight it out with Xia Ping. Excuses? A female disciple from the Lingyun sect shouted, "Let's forget about defeating junior brother Bien, but why did you kill his mount? This is too much. What can I do? This ancient beast is tough to tame and it even wanted to kill me. I could only kill it. I was purely defending myself." Xia Ping said calmly. "Why did you roast it?" Xia Ping said, "Recycling." The Lingyun sect disciples were furious. They stared at Xia Ping. "You what? If you are not convinced, then fight me if you have the balls." Xia Ping clenched his fists. He didn't mind fighting with these Lingyun sect disciples to determine who was stronger. Bien Haifan and the others gritted their teeth and wanted to fight Xia Ping. Enough. At this time, Yi Mengyao stood up and stopped this group of people from attacking because she could see that Xia Ping's strength was not simple. If this group of people attacked, they would most likely be beaten up. After all, the strongest person in this group was Bien Haifan. If even he lost so miserably, what chance did the others have of winning? "Junior brother Xia, since you want to compete so much, do you want to fight with me?" Yi Mengyao looked at Xia Ping, revealing a faint smile. Hearing this, the disciples of the Lingyun sect were overjoyed. They all knew how terrifying Yi Mengyao's strength was. She was known as the most talented saintess of the Lingyun sect in 10,000 years. She had only joined the Lingyun sect for 300 years, but her cultivation was already comparable to the older generation. It was unfathomable. It was said that her strength had already reached the Transcendence realm and was about to break through to the Thunder Tribulation realm. If Yi Mengyao were to make a move, she would be able to destroy this brat with a single breath. "Andy, do you have any shame? This is just a competition between new students. What are you doing here? Step aside." Xia Ping said with disdain. He could also see that Yi Mengyao's martial arts realm was extremely high, far higher than his. Fighting with such a person was clearly asking for abuse. He was not that stupid. "Auntie?" Yi Mengyao's beautiful eyes were spitting fire. She was extremely angry. This was the first time in her life that someone spoke to her like this. Her smile immediately froze. As soon as these words came out, everyone was dumbfounded. The scene was silent. They looked at Xia Ping with a strange expression. They had to admit that this guy was really asking for a beating. Who didn't know that Yi Mengyao was a peerless saintess of a generation? She was dressed in white and exuded an extraordinary temperament. She was like a fairy that descended from the Jade Lake. Her beauty was unparalleled. Anyone would be moved by such beauty. But this guy said that she was an auntie. What kind of eyes did he have? What kind of aesthetic standards did he have? "Xia Ping, what are you talking about? Who are you calling an auntie? You can't win, so you started to attack me. Shameless. Senior sister Yi is only 300 years old now. Moreover, she is from the fairy clan. Her lifespan is extremely long. If we were to really compare, she would only be 17 or 18 years old. How can she be an auntie? What kind of eyes do you have? Apologize. Apologize to me immediately. Do you know how to speak? Have you seen what a real auntie looks like? Oh my God, you actually said that senior sister Yi is an auntie. Your whole family is an auntie." A group of female disciples of the Lingyun sect was furious. Their beautiful eyes glared at Xia Ping, almost spewing fire. Yi Mengyao was their senior sister that they greatly admired. How could they stand a hooligan slandering Yi Mengyao? They bared their fangs and brandished their claws. They wanted nothing more than to go up and beat this madman up. As a woman, regardless of whether she was beautiful or not, it was taboo to be called old. Moreover, she was an 18-year-old girl. Being called an auntie, even a clay figurine would be angry. Alright, when you come out, you have to admit that you are old. Why are you still pretending to be young? Why don't you say that you are 18 years old every year? You are already more than 300 years old. You are old enough to be someone's ancestor. Xia Ping said disdainfully. This is the matter of us young people. Is it something that you older generation can meddle in? Hee hee. Yi Mingyao chuckled. Even though she had an indifferent state of mind and had cultivated to the realm of calmness, Xia Ping's words were enough to make her choke. She felt that she rarely got angry in her life. Yet this fellow was able to provoke her anger. He was about the same as that big liar Wu Wudi. No, he was much more despicable than Wu Wudi. At least that Wu Wudi didn't appear in front of her, alive and kicking. Yet this bastard did. Junior brother Xia, I feel that we should still spar. This isn't a competition between people of the same generation. As a senior, I might need to give you some necessary guidance and care. Yi Mingyao smiled faintly. She wanted this fellow to know the consequences of offending a woman, especially a petty one. If she didn't beat this fellow up until his head was full of bumps, she wouldn't let this matter rest. Bian Haifan and the others were rejoicing in Xia Ping's misfortune. Who asked this bastard to have such a cheap mouth? Now that he had offended their senior sister Yi Mingyao, he wouldn't have a good ending. He would definitely be taught a harsh lesson. But before Yi Mingyao could act, Xia Ping immediately shouted, Elder, someone is causing trouble in the Qinghuan sect. Some Andes are bullying the young. These days Andes are all so shameless. Aren't you going to come out and do something about it? His voice was like a megaphone, instantly spreading out for a radius of several thousand miles. The sound waves condensed into a corporeal form, spreading in all directions. Almost everyone within the range of the sound waves could hear it clearly. What? The group of Qinghuan sect disciples were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect this fellow to be so shameless. He couldn't win against his opponent, yet he directly called for help. He even called his parents over. He didn't seem to feel embarrassed at all. Yi Mingyao was also stunned. What's wrong? Chapter 1389. Elder Lu. When they saw this old man appear, all the Heaven and Earth sect disciples bowed respectfully. Clearly they recognized this person as Heaven and Earth sect's Grand Elder Lu Cheng. His strength was terrifying. Even the arrogant Lingyun sect disciples couldn't help but show respect when they saw this old man. After all, such a powerful person was too terrifying. If they offended him and he slapped them to death, no one would stand up for them. Even Yi Mingyao bowed slightly to show respect to this elder. What happened? Why are there so many people gathered here? Why is there a beast being roasted? Lu Cheng heard Xia Ping's call for help and rushed over because something big had happened. He didn't expect to see such a scene. He was a little stunned. Even though he had lived for so many years, this was the first time he saw someone roasting an ancient beast in the public square. However, one had to say that the smell was indeed fragrant. Elder Lu, your sect's disciple is too much. Not only did he injure my Lingyun sect's disciple, he even roasted his mount. Yi Mingyao gritted her teeth and glared at Xia Ping. When Lu Cheng heard this, he knew what had happened. He instantly found it both funny and angry. He didn't expect Xia Ping to cause so much trouble, injuring the Lingyun sect's disciple and even roasting his mount. However, he rolled his eyes and said, I know what's going on. But they're still young and their actions are more or less impulsive. Let's just forget about it. Don't do it again. Don't do it again? What did he mean by don't do it again? Did he mean that they should just forget about this? He was too protective. Bian Haifan and the others' eyes were spewing fire like dragons. They were so angry that they almost died. This was an ancient beast. It was priceless. If it was put up for auction, it would be worth over 100 million universe dollars. Now that it was eaten by this bastard, how could he not do it again? Did he have any face? Why were the people from Heaven and Earth sect so thick-skinned? No, thicker than a city wall. The group of Lingyun sect disciples' faces were as black as charcoal. However, this was Heaven and Earth sect's territory. Even if they wanted to go crazy, they couldn't. Alright, since Elder Lu has said so, we won't do it again. Let's go. Yi Mingyao gritted her teeth, but with the Qinghuan sect elder here, she knew that this matter couldn't continue. It was impossible to teach Xia Ping a lesson. Elder Lu would definitely step forward to stop him. Since that was the case, she might as well go along with this excuse to avoid making a big deal out of this matter and causing an irreconcilable conflict between the Heaven and Earth faction and the Lingyun faction. That would be a serious crime. She glared at Xia Ping and remembered this heaven and earth sect disciple. Bian Haifan and the others were very unwilling. This provocation had really caused them to suffer a double loss. However, they had no choice but to swallow this loss in silence. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Under Yi Mingyao's lead, the group of Lingyun sect disciples quickly left. Many of the Chengkuan sect's disciples cheered. They knew that they had obtained a great victory this time around. Not only did they severely damage the Lingyun sect's reputation, but they also ate the Lingyun sect's mount. Elder Lu, thank you for speaking up for justice and upholding justice. Only then did you prevent those rascals from causing trouble everywhere. Xia Ping said casually, there's quite a lot of beast meat here. It's equivalent to a treasure medicine. Do you want to try it? He wanted to bribe Elder Lu. Hearing this, Elder Lu said in a bad mood, you only know how to cause trouble. If I didn't come in time, you would have more or less suffered. The Yi Mingyao isn't simple. There aren't many disciples in the Lingyun sect who can compare to her. He didn't care much about the beast meat. At his level, ordinary beast meat wouldn't bring him any benefits. Plus, after living for so long, he had seen all kinds of treasures. So what if she isn't simple? She still runs away when she sees Elder Lu. Old ginger is spicier. Xia Ping didn't think much of it. Elder Lu felt very comfortable after being flattered. He said proudly, that's true. I was an influential figure back in the day. Ordinary people can't compare to me. Even a peerless prodigy is nothing more than this. You're still young. But this isn't the place to talk. Come with me. He waved his hand and left with Xia Ping and the others. Xia Ping also quickly packed the rest of the beast meat. He didn't want to waste it in the square. He would eat it later. 10 minutes later, Xia Ping, Jianghu, and the others followed Elder Lu to the elders' courtyard. It was the area where the elders lived. They also came to Lu Cheng's courtyard. I didn't expect you to reach the treasure refining realm so quickly. What a fast improvement. Lu Cheng was amazed. He sensed Xia Ping's current cultivation. It had only been a year and a half, and he had reached the middle stage of the treasure refining realm. Such a rate of improvement would be shocking even among the countless races and geniuses in the entire universe. Moreover, Xia Ping's speed of improvement was not the least bit unstable. His martial arts foundation was extremely solid, deeper than the vast majority of martial artists, which was even more terrifying. With such a martial arts foundation, one could imagine what he would achieve in the future. He felt more and more that the world now belonged to the young. It was really like the waves behind pushed the waves before. It's just luck. Xia Ping said humbly, this time I actually have something to ask of you, Elder. This group of people are? Lu Qing went straight to the point. He stared at Jianghu, Chu Rong, Yuchichi, Suji and Feng Hetong. He knew that Xia Ping most likely came for these 5 people. They are all from my hometown. The main reason I brought them here is to let them join Heaven and Earth sect. I wonder if you can help me? Xia Ping went straight to the point. Although you are the disciple of a saint and have the power to recommend disciples, Heaven and Earth sect is a saint sect after all. Recruiting disciples requires a certain level of talent. Without talent, one can't become a Heaven and Earth sect disciple. Lu Qing said. Naturally, I'm only recommending them. If they don't have talent, I won't force them. Xia Ping expressed that he understood. Okay, then I will test them to see if they have talent. Lu Qing nodded. After all, this was a request from a saint's disciple. No matter what, he had to give him face. After all, if Xia Ping didn't die, he might even have a chance to become a saint. If he helped Xia Ping now, in the future it would be Xia Ping who helped him. Jianghu and the others were all very nervous. They knew that whether or not they could join Heaven and Earth sect depended on this elder. Boom! Immediately, a mysterious and powerful energy gushed out from Elder Lu Cheng's body, enveloping the bodies of Jianghu and the others. It was as though he could sense the condition of their bodies. My God, all meridians are opened, blood and chi like dragons, violet palaces like the sea, souls are tough, and their foundations are extremely sturdy. Could it be that they had some sort of fortuitous encounter before? Lu Qing couldn't help but exclaim. Clearly he was a little shocked by the aptitude of Jianghu and the others. They could definitely be considered as peerless geniuses. Luckily they have bathed in dragon blood before, which improved their aptitude. Xia Ping said. No wonder, no wonder. What a good opportunity. Lu Cheng's eyes lit up. His heart was stirred and he couldn't suppress the excitement in his heart. I can take all of these disciples. Who bathed in dragon blood. Why don't you let this old man take a look? Why can't I have a share of such disciples? Before he could finish speaking, a powerful aura drifted over from afar. Another elder had arrived. He impolitely pushed open the door of the courtyard and walked in. Chapter 1390. Fuck old fart, this has nothing to do with you. Move aside. Lu Cheng's expression was very black. He didn't want these few outstanding disciples to be snatched away. Old Lu, you're treating me like an outsider. Who doesn't know that we're sworn brothers? Your words really hurt my heart. The yellow-clothed old man didn't care about Lu Cheng's attitude at all. He stared at Jianghu and the others and his eyes immediately lit up. Not bad, not bad. As expected, they are good seedlings. They actually have the luck to bathe in dragon blood and increase their aptitude. This is very rare. Seems like the quality of the dragon blood is also very high. One look and I know they are fated with me. His eyes shone brightly. Clearly he also instantly checked the aptitude of Jianghu and the others. He also cherished talent. Fate my ass. Get out of here for this old man. Lu Cheng gritted his teeth. These are the disciples I just accepted. You don't have a share. Don't be a hindrance here. He had the urge to chase this shameless old man out. Wanting to snatch away his genius disciples the moment he entered? Wasn't this just looking for trouble? Old Lu, it's better to have everyone happy than to be happy alone. There's no future if you eat alone. Also, you're just one person. Can you teach so many disciples? The yellow-clothed old man said, why don't you share some of the pressure with me? Scram, I like to eat alone. Not to mention a few disciples, even teaching a few hundred is easy. Lu Cheng gritted his teeth and glared at the yellow-clothed old man. So. Just as he finished speaking, many old men with powerful auras flew in. There were both men and women. They were all at least in the transcendence realm. They were all heaven and earth sex elders. Oh, old Lu, you just said that a few genius disciples suddenly appeared at old Lu's place. Is that true? They indeed have good aptitude and are full of spirituality. They even bathed in dragon blood and have a trace of dragon nature in their bodies. They even have a trace of hope to become a sage. Thank you, old Lu. What a coincidence. I just happen to be lacking a few outstanding female disciples. Truly it takes no effort to search for them. A group of old men and women barged in, completely treating this courtyard as their own home. Ludong. Lu Cheng was infuriated as he glared at the yellow-clothed old man. Without a doubt, this group of elders was called over by this bastard in order to put pressure on him. The yellow-robed old man, Lu Dong, was immensely proud of himself. If there weren't other elders to share the pressure, he wouldn't be able to stop Lu Cheng. Now that the matter had blown up, he would at least be able to get a genius disciple. Jianghu and the rest stood to the side, not daring to even breathe loudly. They could only obediently obey. Xia Ping was very satisfied. It seemed that Jianghu and the others' aptitude was quite good. If so many elders wanted to take them as disciples, they would probably have no worries in the Qingquan faction in the future. Although Feng Hatang's strength and aptitude were a little lacking, Xia Ping had given him a few bottles of dragon blood on the flying ship, improving his aptitude. Even if he couldn't be considered a peerless genius, he could still enter the ranks of geniuses. At the very least, he wouldn't have to worry about anything if he joined the Heaven and Earth faction. An hour later, Xia Ping returned to Flame Yellow Peak. Jianghu and the others had already been selected by a few elders to become inner disciples. Even Feng Hatang had caught the eye of an elder. Hence, there was no need for him to stay here. He returned to Flame Yellow Peak. As for the following matters, Jianghu and the others would handle them themselves. There was no need for him to point fingers at them. Another day passed. Xia Ping stayed in Flame Yellow Peak and cultivated in peace. At noon, he ended his cultivation and immediately discovered that there were people looking for him. It wasn't just one person but 3 or 4. They were the number 1 ranked new student, Lu Wenho, number 5 Li Hu, number 10 Ba Tu, and the 18th prince of the Loki kingdom, Kuer. They came together to discuss some matters with Xia Ping. MHM? Xia Ping's brows twitched. He could sense that Lu Wenho and the other's strength had undergone a huge change compared to before. They had actually advanced to the initial phase of the treasure refining realm. Although it hadn't been long since they broke through, they could be considered to have stepped into the treasure refining realm. Clearly, he wasn't the only one working hard during this period of time. After Lu Wenho and the others lost to him, they worked even harder. In addition to the resources of the Heaven and Earth sect and the families behind them, their cultivation increased by leaps and bounds. They quickly broke through to the treasure refining realm. Of course, when they joined the Heaven and Earth sect, they were already at the peak of the fulfillment realm. All of them had astonishing talent. After a year and a half, it wouldn't be difficult for them to advance to the treasure refining realm. Brother Xia, although I've heard that you easily defeated Bien Hai Fan of the Soaring Cloud sect, I didn't expect you to advance to the middle phase of the treasure refining realm. Your progress is really too fast. Kuer was amazed. He thought that he had cultivated hard enough, and he had the support of the Loki kingdom and countless spiritual medicines. He didn't expect that he still couldn't compare to Xia Ping's cultivation speed. Although he was improving at a godly speed now, the more he cultivated, the slower his cultivation speed would become. Lu Wenho and the others were also very shocked. However, when they thought of the battle with Xia Ping before, they also knew that this kid was simply a monster. The shock in their hearts also decreased a lot. Alright, there's no need to flatter me. Since you all came together, you must have something important to discuss with me. What exactly is it? Xia Ping went straight to the point, asking directly. Kuer smiled faintly and said, Indeed, it is Brother Xia. You are really straightforward. In that case, I'll get straight to the point. I wonder if Brother Xia has heard of the Fiendish Demon Battlefield? Fiendish Demon Battlefield? Xia Ping blinked, indicating that he did not know much about it. It looks like Brother Xia is not very familiar with it. However, it doesn't matter. I can explain in detail. Kuer said sullenly, the so-called fiendish demons are the common enemy of all the races in the universe. They are born in the deep abyss of the universe and are formed from dark energy. They are an extremely strong life form. They are naturally ferocious and feed on all the races in the universe. They have long lifespans and practically no bottlenecks in their cultivation. As long as the fiendish demons can consume enough life forms, they can grow infinitely stronger. In the ancient era, these fiendish demons came out of the deep abyss of the universe, causing a boundless massacre. That was the dark epoch of the entire universe. Countless life forms died. Even the sages fell. Fortunately, our predecessors did not fear death. They defeated the fiendish demons and sealed the deep abyss of the universe, chasing the fiendish demons back to their home. Otherwise, the entire universe would have turned dead. The fiendish demons would have killed all the life forms of all the races in the universe. Xia Ping asked carefully. The so-called deep abyss of the universe was actually called the Dark Universe. It was another special space in the universe, the reverse side of the current universe. The Dark Universe gathered boundless demonic chi, resentment, evil chi, ferocious chi, fiendish chi, yin chi, and many other negative energies. These negative energies were boundless, and the fiendish demons were the strong life forms born from these negative energies. Originally, the Dark Universe and the normal universe had nothing to do with each other, just like parallel planes. However, in the ancient era, the sages fought without any reservations. In the end, spatial tears appeared everywhere in the universe. Some of the tears healed quickly, but some were permanent. In the end, these tears connected to the deep abyss of the universe. Those fiendish demons charged out of the deep abyss and swept through the entire universe, causing a boundless massacre. Even countless sages fell. Chapter 1391. However, even though the sages were courting death, things had already come to this and there was no turning back. There was no point in finding out who was right and who was wrong. The only thing they could do was to eliminate the demons as soon as possible. Furthermore, towards the end of the war, some of the universe rifts were no longer torn open by sages, but by great fiendish demons. They opened a passageway that connected to the universe and poured out in full force. Because of this, there were countless cracks like this in the universe. Of course, most of the cracks had been repaired or sealed by the sages. The demons could not come out at all. But even so, there would occasionally be a crack in the seal, and a large number of demons would take the opportunity to come out and wreak havoc in the world. Although the various races of the universe joined forces to chase those fiendish demons back to the abyss of the universe in ancient times, those cracks in the universe could never be closed. Kor said, the problem is that if the crack can't be closed, there will still be endless demons coming out from the abyss of the universe. When that time comes, it will definitely lead to a great calamity. Therefore, the sages joined forces and built many great arrays to seal the cracks in the universe. They also sent many experts to suppress them, preventing these demons from returning to the human world for generations. The space where these universe cracks are located is known as the Fiendish Demon Battlefield. He explained the origins of the Fiendish Demon Battlefield. Furthermore, Kerr also indicated that the space of the universe's abyss was very unique. It was formed by abyssal continents, and each abyssal continent was very far apart. Even the demons themselves would find it extremely difficult to travel from their own abyss continent to a nearby abyss continent. Therefore, every crack in the universe represented an abyss continent nearby. Depending on the size of the crack, the strength of the abyss continent would be completely different. Since the ancient era and the myriad races were victorious, why didn't they exterminate all of these demons and cut the weeds at the roots? Xiaoping asked curiously. If they had exterminated all of the demons, there wouldn't have been such a thing today. Kerr shook his head. It's impossible for demons to go extinct. As long as the universe's abyss still exists, those demons will be born endlessly. Killing one batch will quickly produce another batch. Even saints can't do anything about it. Very well. I already know the specifics of the fiendish demon battlefield. However, why did you mention the fiendish demon battlefield? Xiaoping looked at Ku'er and the others. 10 days later, the Universe Sect, the Lingyun Sect, the Origin Returning Sect, the Five Elements Sect, and the Flying Immortal Sect will send their new disciples to the fiendish demon battlefield for experiential training. LV1Ho said, this training is actually a competition between the sections. There will be rankings. Whoever kills the most demons will be rewarded handsomely. This is an opportunity. Xiaoping nodded. The rewards from this fiendish demon battlefield were usually very bountiful. Sometimes, it was a precious medicinal pill, sometimes it was a strong magic treasure, and sometimes it was a spirit herb. In short, the rewards were enough to drive the disciples of the 5 major factions crazy, making them want to do their best. In fact, experiential training like this in the fiendish demon battlefield was held once every 5 years. It had already become a tradition. Although most of the fiendish demons were unable to come out of the abyss after sealing the cracks in the universe, it was better to be safe than sorry. In order to familiarize the disciples with the fiendish demons, the sages ordered the disciples to enter the abyss for training. Otherwise, if the seal broke in the future and the fiendish demons invaded the human world, the cultivators would be caught off guard. Not familiar with the combat prowess of the fiendish demons, they would suffer heavy losses. Furthermore, there were simply too many spatial cracks in the universe. Sometimes, when the sealing formations fell into disrepair, many fiendish demons would escape from them. Every time they escaped, it would result in a boundless massacre. Every living creature on a planet would die. The danger of the fiendish demons was easy to imagine. Hence, every experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield was actually an activity to clear out the fiendish demons. This was to prevent these fiendish demons from multiplying and creating an irreversible crisis. Actually, even without the rewards from the sect, killing fiendish demons will still bring you great benefits, Li Hu said. Every fiendish demon has a demon core. This kind of demon core contains abundant pure yang energy and does not have any demonic nature. If you can obtain a large number of demon cores, you can quickly increase your magic energy, saving decades, even centuries of cultivation. Sometimes, demon cores are hard currency. Countless cultivators desire them. Demon core. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. It looked like this was another kind of cultivation treasure. Speaking of which, I believe you already know that the fiendish demon battlefield is an incredibly dangerous place. Fiendish demons roam the land and the environment is harsh. Every experiential training, countless sect disciples die there. Batu said, if you want to survive in the fiendish demon battlefield, you cannot fight alone. You have to work together. Only when a group of people are united will there be any hope of survival. Otherwise you will die for sure. Batu's expression was very grave. Furthermore, the fiendish demon battlefield does not just have monsters like fiendish demons. There is an even more terrifying monster known as the heavenly demon, Lu Wenho said. It is formless and formless. It is a soul, a thought. It is ever-changing, ruthless, and crafty. It can invade the soul of a living being and create illusions. If it finds a weakness in one's heart, it will immediately swallow up one's soul and take over one's body. Compared to the many fiendish demons, the heavenly demon is the scariest enemy. Although many experts can kill fiendish demons, they cannot kill the heavenly demon. This is a demon that comes from the heart. Once you meet it, you have to be careful. Otherwise, you will end up getting wiped out. Even though Batu was very arrogant, he still did not dare to be careless when facing the fiendish demon battlefield. Otherwise, if he got careless, he might die in the fiendish demon battlefield. Hence, Batu wanted to seek help to prevent himself from dying in the fiendish demon battlefield. Alright, got it. Xiaoping nodded. He remembered the name of the heavenly demon. If he met it, he had to be more careful. That's right. Furthermore, this is also a competition. The sect disciple that kills the most fiendish demons wins. How can one person compare to teamwork? Ku'er said, hence, we came here this time hoping to seek your cooperation. If we can form an alliance in the fiendish demon battlefield, we can take care of each other. This will greatly increase our chances of survival. Ku'er looked seriously at Xiaoping. Cooperation? Xiaoping thought for a while and said, "Very well. It is indeed as you said. If the fiendish demon battlefield is that dangerous, cooperation is naturally the best choice. Does that mean that you agree?" Ku'er looked at Xiaoping somewhat nervously. Xiaoping nodded. "That's great." Ku'er and the others rejoiced. If a super expert like Xiaoping joined them, their experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield would be several times safer than before. Chapter 1392. On the other hand, Bian Haifan and the rest quickly returned to Lingyun's sect through the interregion teleportation formation. After a few days of rest and consumption of large amounts of healing spiritual medicine, he finally recovered from his injuries and even improved his cultivation. However, the Lingyun sect's disciples were still unconvinced. There was a gloomy feeling in their hearts and they were extremely sullen. Damn it, Jianghu sect really suffered a huge loss this time. Right, not only did we not teach the Jianghu sect disciples a lesson, we were taught a lesson instead. Even Master scolded us, saying that we lost face for Lingyun's sect. Even the monthly medicinal pills were reduced by a lot. It's all that bastard Xiaoping's fault. Our original plan was to take advantage of the fact that the Jianghu sect geniuses weren't around to defeat the new disciples of Jianghu sect. If not for Xiaoping's appearance, we wouldn't have ended up like this. All the Lingyun sect disciples gritted their teeth in anger. Revenge, we must take revenge this time. Otherwise Bian Haifan will not be able to take this lying down. Bian Haifan roared. In terms of anger, no one here could compare to him. Not only was he taught a terrible lesson by Xiaoping, he was severely injured on the spot and lost face in front of Saintess Yi Mengyao. Even the mount that he had painstakingly nurtured was eaten. This was a heavy loss. He couldn't even describe the grievance in his heart. Senior brother Bian, how can we take revenge? He is a disciple of a sage in Jianghu sect at that. We are too far away. A Lingyun sect disciple felt helpless. After all, Xiaoping was the disciple of the Dark North sage. He had a high status. Even though they were the direct descendants of many clans, they were far from the status of a disciple of a sage. They wanted to use their status and power to bully him. That was simply wishful thinking. Moreover, in terms of strength, they were not even worth mentioning. They would be killed with one punch. Be it status or strength, they were far from Xiaoping's. How could they take revenge? That was why these Lingyun sect disciples gritted their teeth and felt extremely sullen. Why can't we take revenge? Bian Haifan gritted his teeth and said, in a few days the Heaven and Earth sect, Lingyun sect, Origin Returning sect, Five Element sect, and Flying Immortal sect will hold the once every 5 fiendish demon battlefield experiential training. At that time this Xiaoping will definitely participate. Think about it, the 5 major sects are filled with geniuses, and there are countless disciples participating in the experiential learning. They have countless secret treasures on them. I don't believe that no one can defeat this bastard Xiaoping. He clenched his fists. Senior brother Bian, are you trying to drive a wedge between us? A disciple of the Lingyun sect asked. Bian Haifan said, yes, it is to sow discord. Immediately spread the news that I, Bian Haifan, admit defeat. Go around bragging that Xiaoping is a peerless genius that only appears once in 10,000 years, and that he is the absolute master of this year's trial. That he will definitely win first place and that he is invincible. The more you boast about him, the better. I believe that the 5 great sects have as many geniuses as the clouds in the sky. There will definitely be people who are dissatisfied with Xiaoping and will challenge him. He revealed a treacherous smile. Kill by flattery. Many disciples of the Lingyun sect immediately understood Bian Haifan's plan. This was undoubtedly killing by flattery. First, he would raise Xiaoping's status to a level that no one could reach, and then he would ruthlessly drop it, killing without leaving a trace. Obviously, he did not have the ability to suppress the universe, but he had the reputation of being the strongest. Who would be convinced? They believed that once this news spread, this brat would definitely become the target of public criticism and be challenged by countless people. Brilliant, this is really brilliant. Senior brother Bian is really smart. This move kills without leaving a trace. This world still eats brains. So what if he is strong in martial arts? With just a little trick, he can make that brat's head full of bumps and fall into a hopeless situation. The 5 major sects have as many geniuses as the clouds in the sky. I believe that once this news spreads, that brat will definitely be badly battered. In this way we don't even need to do anything and that brat will definitely die. As expected of senior brother Bian, he is indeed astute and cunning. Many disciples of the Lingyun sect were full of admiration, and they looked at Bien Haifan with admiration. You are too polite, too polite. Just a little trick, just a little trick. It's not worth mentioning. Bien Haifan's nose curled up. Hearing so many senior and junior brothers flattering him, he felt very good. He even forgot about the matter of his mount being eaten. Soon, under the planning of Bien Haifan and the others, Xia Ping's reputation started to spread among the 5 major sections. Several days later, the experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield finally arrived. After cultivating peacefully for the past few days, Xia Ping had stabilized his martial Dao cultivation. His magic energy had become much stronger, and he had even familiarized himself with his martial Dao magic skills, improving further. At this moment, countless new disciples of the Jianghu sect were gathered in an inter-region transportation formation. This time, the fiendish demon battlefield they were heading to was not the Jianghu star but an uninhabited starfield. In the ancient era, there were still people in this uninhabited starfield. However, a universe crack appeared there, and all the fiendish demons came out, turning that place into a battlefield. In the end, there were countless deaths and injuries, and it became a dead zone. Even though countless years had passed, that starfield was still filled with demonic qi, evil qi, and yin qi. Living things could not survive there, and it became a dead zone. Let's go. At this moment, over 100 Jianghu sect elders also appeared in this place. They led a large number of Jianghu sect disciples to the uninhabited starfield and immediately activated the inter-region transportation formation. Rumbled, the many Jianghu sect disciples who were standing in the inter-region transportation formation felt the space around them change. In the next second they appeared on a continent. This continent was the center of the uninhabited starfield, and it was called the Fiendish Continent. It was the previous station of the Fiendish Demon War, and it was also the place where the universe crack was sealed. This is the Fiendish Demon Continent? How terrifying. I can sense the terrifying demonic qi in the air. It seems to be able to corrode one's soul. If ordinary people stayed here for a long time, they would go crazy and turn into a demon. Some disciples immediately cried out in surprise. They sensed the abnormality of this continent, and it was simply a demonic zone. Xia Ping also looked at the surroundings. This continent was in a state of desolation. There were yellow sand and rocks everywhere, and not even a single plant could be found. It was completely a forbidden land for life. Quickly look, the demonic qi here is seeping out from that universe crack. Someone raised his head and looked at the sky. Many people immediately looked over, and all of them were shocked. There was a crack that spanned hundreds of thousands of miles, or even millions of miles. It was as if the sky was split into two. This dark crack emitted terrifying demonic qi. The aura of darkness contained the taste of the abyss, and it was so dark that it seemed like there was no daylight, and it exuded an extremely oppressive aura. And in the depths of the crack, it seemed to be connected to another world of the abyss, causing one's heart to palpitate. Many terrifying demons were roaring in the abyss, letting out sounds that could cause people to go crazy. Luckily it's sealed. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen. Many Jianghu sect disciples felt their hearts palpitating. They saw many complicated and profound formations appearing near the universe crack. Chains of order appeared one after another, tightly sealing this spatial crack. Chapter 1393. Xia Ping did not feel the fear of the people around him. He only felt the golden crow of hell's bloodline in his body throb. There was a trace of joy and desire. Every cell in his body was trembling and boiling. It was like devouring the demonic aura was very beneficial to it. It felt like it could not wait to enter the fiendish demon battlefield. He also recalled that the golden crow of hell was a divine beast born from hell. It was born with the aura of hell and devoured boundless darkness energy. It was the son of hell, the ruler of hell. It could be said that the abyss aura was extremely poisonous to ordinary people. However, to the golden crow of hell, it was nourishment, the energy to activate its bloodline. Looks like I was right to come to the fiendish demon battlefield. There are great fortuitous encounters inside. Xia Ping clenched his fist. He felt that if he devoured enough demonic aura, the golden crow of hell's bloodline in his body would awaken even more. Perhaps this was a treasure land for him to rise up. Quick look, the people from the other sects are here. Someone called out. Rumble, at this moment, on a vast piece of land not far from the Jianghu sect, many inter-region teleportation formations appeared. They connected to the depths of the void and emitted a strong spatial aura. Immediately, there was a flash of light, and many figures appeared from the teleportation formations. There were many people, and each teleportation formation could hold at least 40 to 50,000 people. The people from the Lingyun sect, Guiyuan sect, Five Elements sect, and Flying Immortal sect are here. Many Qinghuan sect disciples stood where they were quietly, watching the people from the other sects appear. They knew that these disciples were their competitors in the fiendish demon battlefield. Very soon, the disciples from the other 4 sects gathered together. Their gazes quickly landed on the Qinghuan sect disciples, and their gazes became very strange. The Qinghuan sect disciples are actually the first batch to arrive. Looks like we are lagging behind a little. What's so great about being the first batch? This is the trial of the fiendish demon battlefield, not a competition of speed. Where is Xiaoping? Where is the so-called new disciple of the 5 great sects? It's that fellow. He has an arrogant expression and is standing at the very front. I can recognize him even if I turn into ashes. I heard that a disciple of the Lingyun sect challenged him in the Heaven and Earth sect, but he beat him up badly. I've heard about this before. That disciple from Lingyun sect is called Bian Haifan or something. Although Bian Haifan is quite strong, claiming to be the strongest after defeating him is still a little arrogant. That's right. So what if he's a disciple of a saint? It's not like we don't have one in our sect. What right does he have to be so arrogant? Does he want to suppress our 4 sects? The title of the strongest isn't just for show. It's earned through fighting. Looks like I need to weigh this kid's strength. He's not someone who thinks he's invincible just because he said a few words. The disciples of the 4 great sects discussed among themselves. They seemed to be in a bad mood when they looked at Xiaoping. Their expressions were hostile. In particular, some of the genius disciples were very unconvinced by Xiaoping. They were all peerless geniuses and geniuses of various races. It wasn't like they didn't have disciples of sages. How could they be willing to submit to someone else? What's wrong? Why do I feel that many people are hostile to me and don't like me? Xiaoping touched his chin. He felt very puzzled. Could it be that his identity as Wu Wudi had been exposed? However, if it was exposed, it wouldn't be this kind of expression. The problem was that if it wasn't exposed, he hadn't done anything major recently and had been cultivating in Yanhuang Peak. Why were the disciples of the other 4 great sects so hostile to him? Brother Xia, haven't you seen the recent martial arts forum? Seemingly seeing Xiaoping's confusion, Kerr spoke up. The so-called martial arts forum was an exchange forum created by the disciples of the 5 great sects: Lingyun sect, Guiyuan sect, Five Elements sect, Flying Immortal sect, and Qinghuan sect. Everyone often exchanged martial arts knowledge or exchanged resources that they didn't need. Sometimes there was also a section for emotional issues. It was very lively. Anything that happened to the 5 great sects would be discussed on this martial arts forum. It was a gathering place for the disciples of the 5 great sections. Many people paid attention to it. After all, there were many useful things on the forum. Xiaoping blinked his eyes, looked at Kerr and asked, I haven't seen it. I've been cultivating in seclusion recently and didn't pay attention to other things. What happened? Kerr said, someone posted on the forum against you and caused a huge commotion. It's very troublesome to explain this matter. Why don't you go and take a look? The post is still there. The others nodded. They also knew about this matter and that it had caused a huge commotion. Oh, there's such a thing? Hearing this, Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He immediately logged into the virtual network and found the martial arts forum. He immediately discovered that there were many posts about him. A netizen named I Eat Pork Ribs and Rice posted, in this demon battlefield freshman experiential training, Xiaoping of the Qinghuan sect is fully deserving of being number 1. No one can defeat him. If you're not convinced, come and argue. This post listed a lot of Xiaoping's advantages. Be it strength, speed, martial arts, mystical abilities, or speed of improvement, he was number 1 among the freshmen of the 5 great sections. This post declared, even if the genius disciples of the other sects gathered together, they would not be a match for one of Xiaoping's hands. He has an invincible attitude. The others are like clay chickens and pottery dogs that can only bow down to him. The future will be Xiaoping's era, and the others are only fit to carry his shoes. This netizen also advised the disciples of the various sects to quickly go forward and curry favor with him. In the future they might have a chance to be promoted by Xiaoping. Otherwise their future prospects would be worrying. It could be said that the words of praise in this post were extremely rich. It was as if they were loyal fans. The praises made even a thick-skinned person like Xiaoping a little embarrassed. However, such a post immediately caused the disciples of the other 4 great sects to be dissatisfied. They were all geniuses with exceptional talent to be able to join a saint-level sect. How could they stand someone claiming to be invincible? This was simply a provocation. Nonsense. This Xia Ping dares to claim to be number one? Isn't he afraid that others will laugh their heads off? That's right. Is advancing to the treasure refining realm that amazing? Who knows how many geniuses of our Five Elements sect have advanced to the treasure refining realm? A little freshman dares to boast shamelessly and claim to be invincible in this era. Does he still have any shame? Where did this brainless fan come from? He dares to clamor on the martial arts forum. Tell your master Xia Ping that no matter if it is Hua Yang of the Five Elements sect, Shiranchang of the Guiyuan sect, or Li Puwang of the Flying Immortal sect, they are all geniuses of this generation. They can suppress this arrogant disciple with just one hand. That's right. The disciples of saints are indeed powerful. However, there are also a lot of good-for-nothings. As the saying goes, the master introduces the disciple, and the cultivation depends on the disciple. If the disciple is useless, then no matter how powerful the master is, it will be useless. You're bragging like that brat is already a saint. You even said that all of us are no match for him. If you have the guts, come to my Five Elements sect. I can kill him in 3 moves. 3 moves? That's too kind of him. I only need 1 move. Come to my Flying Immortal sect and I will teach him a lesson. Chapter 1394. Seeing these replies, the netizen "I eat pork ribs and rice" was not convinced and immediately retorted, Hua Yang from the Five Elements sect, Shiranchang from the Guiyuan sect, and Li Puwang from the Flying Immortal sect are indeed quite capable and famous recently, but that's all there is to it. Have you heard of Bian Hai Fan from the Lingyun sect? He's a heavens chosen like Li Puwang, an expert at the peak of artifact refining. This guy thinks he's invincible, so he went to the Lingyun sect to cause trouble. In the end, he was beaten by Xia Ping and came back with his face covered in dirt. Even his mount of many years was roasted, and he didn't even dare to fart. Hua Yang, Shiranchang, and Li Puwang are powerful, but are they 100 times more powerful than Bian Hai Fan? If you don't have any experience, then don't come out and embarrass yourself. Otherwise, people will think that we disciples of Saint-class sects are inexperienced. His words were reasonable, and he refuted the disciples of the other 4 sects one by one. In fact, this netizen "I eat pork ribs with rice" was Bian Hai Fan himself. In order to make Xia Ping famous, he would rather ruin his reputation, even if he used himself as a stepping stone. That's right. Guiyuan sect, Flying Celestial sect, Five Elements sect, Lingyun sect, and so on are all outdated. Just you wait. In this fiendish demon battlefield, just senior brother Xia alone can defeat your 4 major sections. He will make you eat his dust, feeling envy, jealousy, and hatred. Senior brother Xia is a genius that only appears once in a million years. The other sects' saints and saintesses are not even worth mentioning. In the future they can only follow senior brother Xia around. You still dare to say that you can suppress senior brother Xia with 1 hand? Aren't you afraid of making others laugh their heads off? If you really come in front of senior brother Xia, I'm afraid you keyboard warriors won't even be able to stand properly. If you have the guts, come to the Heaven and Earth sect. If senior brother Xia can't kill you with a single punch, I'll change my surname to yours. These replies were all sock puppets of Bian Hai Fan's underlings. In order to boost the prestige of Bian Hai Fan's post, they waved flags and shouted war cries below, pretending to be Xia Ping's loyal underlings. Bragging Heaven and Earth factions dogs continue to brag. Genius that only appears once in a million years? Why don't you ascend to the heavens? If you have the guts, ask Xia Ping to come out. Watch me smash his head. It's not like I haven't seen the disciples of the Jianghu sect before. They are only SOSO. They are still far from being able to rule the world. It's not like I haven't seen the so-called Jianghu sect's martial arts. In essence, it's the theory of yin and yang. But how can it be so easy to fuse yin and yang and unite Jianghu? Most of the Jianghu sect's disciples are inexperienced. They've only learned a bit of superficial knowledge from their ancestors and became eunuchs that are neither yin nor yang. They're not worth mentioning at all. How can they compare to the profoundness of our Five Elements sect's martial arts? The disciples from the other 4 great system-allocated sects were furious, and they started scolding each other. In just 3 hours, more than 100,000 posts had been posted on the martial arts forum, and they looked as if they wanted to beat each other's brains out. Bian Hai Fan's underlings naturally did not want to be outdone. They were full of firepower and completely replaced the identity of Xia Ping's fans. Their acting skills were natural. After all, they had been paid. Even the disciples of the Jianghu sect were alarmed. It was because the disciples from the other 4 great system-allocated sects were not only attacking Xiaoping, but they were also attacking the Jianghu sect. They were scolding the Jianghu sect for being a trashy sect that wasn't worth mentioning. They said that all disciples from the Jianghu sect were scum. They were so weak that they could only be killed by the interstellar pirates. So, how could the disciples of the Jianghu sect endure such humiliation? All of them scolded back. 5 Elements sect, what are you guys acting cool for? You put it nicely, saying that your 5 Elements sect's martial arts are all-encompassing, encompassing the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. But in reality you're all knowledgeable but not proficient, mixed but not pure. You know a bit of everything but most of you are inexperienced. I can fight against 10 inexperienced people like you from the 5 Elements sect. The Origin returning sect is also trash. You claim to have 3 parts returning to the origin, all things returning to the origin, all rivers flowing into the sea. You have a great vision. Your tone is also quite big but your strength isn't much. Moreover, you are narrow-minded and will definitely take revenge for the smallest grievance. How can you have the bearing of a grandmaster? That's exactly what I'm talking about. The most trashy sect is the Flying Immortal sect. Each of their martial arts is imbued with the aura of immortality and is very pleasing to the eye. But in reality they are all flashy but impractical. If they really fought they would be defeated with a single punch. They have no prowess at all. Let's not talk about the Lingyun sect's martial arts. I can't be bothered to talk about them. They aren't on the same level. What is Sissy's martial arts? The disciples of the Jianghu sect weren't willing to show weakness. They directly attacked. The disciples of the 5 great sects were in a chaotic battle. The scene was rather chaotic. And at this moment, Bian Haifan himself appeared. He exposed his identity and posted a thread with a dispirited look on his face. Sigh, I was originally cultivating and recuperating from my injuries. I didn't really want to care about the matters of the outside world, but who would have thought that I would still be called over by so many senior and junior brothers? After all, this matter is indeed a little too big. It wouldn't be good if I didn't come out and give a response. How about this? I won't hide it from everyone and won't be afraid of being laughed at by everyone. This time, I went to the Jianghu sect to challenge many Jianghu sect disciples. At the start, I was like a hot knife cutting through butter. I was very complacent and thought that I was invincible in the world. But when I encountered Xiaoping, I fell miserably. Even my mount, the single-horned lava leopard, was eaten by this fellow. He even ate it on the spot and added some cumin on it. However, I'm not angry. Who asked me to be inferior? A loser has no right to criticize the winner. Even if the winner is arrogant and despotic with his nose in the sky and looks down on me, I can only endure it. Of course, although this Xiaoping's personality is a little vile, I have to say that he is very strong, so strong that it makes one's hair stand on end. Bian Haifan can also be considered a pretty good expert, but I was still beaten down by him in a few punches, unable to retaliate at all. Sigh, even if I'm not convinced, I can only say that the future belongs to Xiaoping. Nothing can stop him. I advise everyone not to provoke Xiaoping in case you bring about a great disaster in the future. He had a dispirited look on his face, as though he had no confidence after being defeated by Xiaoping. The disciples from the other sects were all in an uproar. They had heard of Bian Haifan's reputation before because this fellow was very arrogant and liked to go around to challenge other sects, smacking their faces. One couldn't help but say that Bian Haifan was still very strong. Standing at the peak, although he wasn't invincible, there weren't many new disciples who could defeat him. But such an expert actually admitted defeat and was beaten to the point that he was convinced. His mount was eaten but he didn't even dare to make a sound. From this, one could imagine how tyrannical and brutal Xiaoping was. I don't believe it. Are you trying to scare me? Could it be that even geniuses like Hua Yang and Shi Ranchang aren't Xiaoping's opponents? Is he really that strong? Some people didn't believe it. Sigh, there's nothing you can do if you don't believe it. That brat is just that strong and invincible. I'm afraid that the future will be the era of invincible Xia. Bian Haifan was very sinister. He was also given the nickname Invincible Xia by Xiaoping. This was a nickname that could kill one's heart. It could be imagined that when these words came out, the dissatisfaction of the disciples from the other 4 sects reached its peak. After all, they hadn't seen Xiaoping's strength, so how could they be convinced? Chapter 1395. After reading these posts, Xiaoping understood what had happened. It was definitely Haifan's doing. He wanted to ruin his reputation by flattering Xia Ping. As the saying went, the higher you are, the harder you fall. When Xiao Chen's reputation reached its peak, if he failed even once, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. He would be mocked by everyone, dealing a blow to his martial heart. If his martial heart was weak, he would not be able to recover from this setback. Hai Fan's intentions were sinister. I see. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. With so many things happening, it was no wonder the disciples of the other four great sects were staring at him like wolves and tigers. If not for the elders around, they would have come forward to fight him. However, this was not necessarily a bad thing. He still lacked hatred, and this was a good opportunity. Brat, this is the result of offending me, Bien Hai Fan. You will suffer later. In the distance, Bien Hai Fan was extremely pleased with himself. His plan had succeeded, and Xia Ping had become the target of everyone. He believed that there was no need for him to sow dissension. Xia Ping would be in big trouble and be targeted by countless people. However, he still kept a low profile, pretending that he did not know anything. After all, if he was targeted by the ferocious Xia Ping, he would be the one in big trouble. Everyone. Just at this moment, Xia Ping stepped forward and swept his gaze across the crowd. Huh. He actually dares to jump out? Bien Hai Fan was a little surprised. He did not expect Xia Ping to jump out so stupidly. Does he not know that he has become the target of public criticism? Instead of being obedient, he dares to come out and be arrogant. Is he seeking his own death? Hearing this, the disciples of the five great sects all looked at Xia Ping, wanting to know what he was trying to say. As the saying goes, a snake cannot move without a head, a bird cannot fly without wings. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. This experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield is very dangerous. Fiendish demons are everywhere. If we are not careful, we will be surrounded by fiendish demons and die. Hence, this experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield requires a leader to lead everyone. Only by combining all our strength will we have hope of survival in the fiendish demon battlefield. He spoke his mind. What do you mean? This is an experiential training, and it is a joint experiential training of the five great sections. You want to choose a leader? Don't tell me you want to be the leader? Many people looked at Xia Ping with unfriendly expressions. If I don't go to hell, who will? Xia Ping looked up to the sky and sighed. Although I don't really want to be the leader among all the new disciples, there is no one more suitable than me to be the leader. If not me, then who else? Of course he wouldn't give up the position of leader. He wanted to show his ambition. Fuck, this bastard really dared to say that. His guts were too big. Bien Hai Fan and the others were dumbfounded. They had seen ambitious people before, but they had never seen someone who didn't hide his ambition at all. He was extremely domineering, directly saying that he wanted to be their leader in front of so many heaven's favorites. In fact, since the appearance of the fiendish demon battlefield, they had experienced experiential training countless times. However, no one had ever dared to say that they wanted to be the leader of the five great sects, leading the crowd. After all, which one of the disciples of the five great sects was not a genius? Which one of them was not arrogant and unruly? How could they be willing to submit to others? The mouths of Ku Er and the other Chengkuan sect disciples twitched. They had not expected Xia Ping to say such words. As for the elders of the five great sects, they stood at the side and did not say anything. They watched with interest. It was not suitable for them to participate in a fight between the new disciples. They could only watch from the side. As long as there were no major problems, they would not interfere. Nonsense. You want to be the leader of the new disciples of the five great sects? Why don't you go and eat sex? You want to be the leader of the new disciples in front of everyone? What a joke. Could it be that your Chengkuan sect wants to suppress us four great sects? You want to be the leader of the five great sects. Stop dreaming. Even if we really have to choose a leader, it will be a disciple of my Lingyun sect. Nonsense. My Flying Immortal sect is the most suitable candidate to be the leader. All of you scram. Where do you think you are treating my Gui Yuan sect? Humph, the five-element sect is the strongest sect. You just have to listen to us obediently. The disciples of the four great sects laughed coldly. None of them were willing to submit to the other. Even if they really had to choose the leader of the new disciples of the five great sects, they felt that only their own sect was suitable. Even if you really become the leader of the new disciples of the five great sects, this is a training exercise. There is a ranking. How will the contribution be calculated? Someone asked. Xia Ping said matter-of-factly, I am the first. This is predetermined and inevitable. As for the other rankings, you can choose yourselves. There is no difference anyway. Scram. Someone immediately scolded, "Who do you think you are? The competition hasn't even started and you want to predetermine the first place. Do you think that there is no one in our 4 great sects? We have plenty of people here who can deal with you. Don't be too arrogant." He glared at Xiaoping angrily. Clearly he was infuriated by Xiaoping's arrogant words. The competition hadn't even started and Xiaoping actually said that he would predetermine the first place. The rest of the rankings could be chosen by them. What did this mean? He was looking down on them too much. Did he think that he was already invincible? There were so many disciples present but none of them were his match. What's wrong? You're not convinced? Xiaoping glanced sideways. People like you, I can fight 20 with one hand. No 10. 20 is a bit arrogant. What? The new disciples present were furious. This Xiaoping was simply arrogant to the extreme. He even said that it was a bit arrogant to fight 20 with one hand. Could it be that fighting 10 was not arrogant? How much did this bastard want to look down on them before he would let it go? This? Bian Haifan bared his teeth and the corner of his mouth twitched. He felt that what he had done before was useless. There was no need for him to sow discord. This brat had taken the initiative to court death and even provoked him in front of so many people. Even if this guy was a disciple of a saint, he could not withstand the anger of the crowd. Xiaoping, our 5-element sect has good intentions. We will teach you and see if you can be the leader of the 5 great sections. If you want to be the leader, then scram if you don't have the strength. That person could not take it anymore. His lungs were about to explode from anger. He leaped out and soared into the air, his killing intent bursting forth. In an instant, a formless sword chi slashed out from his hand. This sword chi was several kilometers long. As it swept out, it seemed as though it was going to split the sky into 2 as it cleaved down at Xiaoping's head. Everyone was shocked. This new disciple of the 5-element sect was not simple. His strength had reached the early stage of the treasure-refining realm. His sword technique was divine. One slash from his sword had the power to shatter mountains and rivers. Xiaoping did not even look at it. He took a step forward and grabbed with his hand. The sword chi was instantly crushed. Then he slapped down from the sky like an ancient giant's palm. Ah! Chapter 1396. Senior Brother Ju. Seeing this, the people from 5-element sect were shocked. They immediately went up to help Ju Xinliang up from the deep hole. They fed him a few healing medicinal pellets and stabilized his condition. The hearts of the disciples from the other sects skipped a beat when they saw this palm strike. What a terrifying martial art divine ability. I reckon this is the famous Great Yin-Yang Tablet smashing palm of the Qinghuan sect. Rumor has it that Xiaoping comprehended the Yin-Yang Tablet smashing palm that countless heaven and earth sects geniuses couldn't. That was why Dark North Saint took a liking to him and took him in as his last disciple. As expected of the supreme technique of heaven and earth sect. That Ju Xinliang can be considered a genius of the sword path and his sword technique has reached the acme of perfection. His sword chi soared into the clouds but he still couldn't block this palm. His sword chi was instantly shattered and he couldn't resist at all. What can we do? This palm is far too terrifying. The power of yin and yang merged together like a millstone. When it smashed down, it had the power to destroy all techniques. Normal sword energy would be destroyed instantly. This guy isn't undeserving of his reputation. He does have some ability. The disciples from the 4 great sects had a solemn expression on their faces. Even Ju Xinliang, who was at the beginning stage of treasure crafting, was smashed into the ground without any ability to resist. It was estimated that among the disciples of the various sects, there were very few who could defeat Xiaoping. It was as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. However, it was impossible for them to accept Xiaoping as the leader of the new disciples of the 5 great sections. Damn it! Ju Xinliang circulated the qi in his body and barely healed a portion of his injuries. He was unwilling to accept this, but when he thought back to what happened just now, he still felt fear and his body trembled. At that moment he felt like he saw his ancestor beside the river. That palm covered the sky and locked onto his qi. It seemed like no matter how he dodged, he couldn't escape the power of this palm. He was like a mosquito that was grabbed by the huge hand and smashed into the ground like a ball. If Xiaoping didn't show mercy, he would have been smashed into dust. Who else doesn't want to accept this? Come up. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back like an invincible master who looked down on the world. Brother Xia, I, Meng Yunxiao, am the first to be unconvinced. I would like to seek guidance from you. Immediately, a young man in white flew out. Riding on the clouds, he arrived in front of Xiaoping in an instant. Lingyun Sec's Meng Yunxiao. Everyone immediately recognized the true identity of this white-robed young man. Impressively, he was the strongest new disciple of the Lingyun sect of this generation, a powerhouse at the peak of artifact forging. As expected, the other party couldn't hold back and jumped out. However, this was to be expected. If no one dared to stand up against Xia Ping, wouldn't it mean that this generation of disciples was suppressed by Xia Ping? If that was the case, the Lingyun sect would not have any face left. Moreover, many people knew that Meng Yunxiao was extremely frightening. He had cultivated the misty cloud body, and his strength was tyrannical. Haha, if it's a battle, I Shiranchang will not lose to anyone. A burly man jumped out from the crowd and landed on the ground like a meteor. With a thud, he created a huge crater. Standing on the ground, he looked like a giant. He was 3.5 meters tall and his entire body was covered with rock-like muscles. He emitted the pressure of a towering mountain and was unfathomable. Gui Yuan sect's disciple, Shiranchang. Many people were shocked. Shiranchang's cultivation had also reached the peak of artifact forging. He was the strongest new disciple of the Gui Yuan sect. He had formed a rock body and was able to control the power of the earth element. He had reached the acme of perfection. It was said that he had the power of the earth element. Like a rock giant, he had the strength to carry mountains. In order to cultivate and understand the power of the earth, he formed a rock body. He had moved 108,000 mountains with his bare hands and forcibly changed the mountain range of a planet. If you want to be the leader of the new disciples of the 5 sects, have you asked me, Huayang? Who can block my attack? Just then, a man wearing a singlet walked out barefoot. He carried a black broadsword on his back and emitted a domineering aura. Standing on the ground, he was like a broadsword that pierced through the clouds. He contained the golden chi and was incomparably sharp. It seemed that if one looked at him for a long time, even the soul would be pierced. Even the stones, dust, and rocks on the ground seemed to be corroded by the golden chi he emitted and turned into pieces of metal. This was the power that could change the world. Huayang of the 5 Elements School. Everyone's eyelids twitched. Even the strongest new disciple of the 5 Elements School, Huayang, came out. This guy was also at the peak of artifact forging. It was said that he had the strongest metal element body and had formed a diamond body. It could be said that his body was like a piece of metal that had been tempered hundreds and thousands of times. He had extraordinary control over the power of the metal element. Plus, he was a swordsman and had mastered the techniques of the sword. The power of his sword technique was like a god. In the 5 Element School, he could beat everyone in the 5 Element School with just one broadsword. Haha, I didn't think that Brother Hua, Brother Shi, and Brother Meng would all come out. How could I, Li Paoang, miss a banquet like this? Immediately, a young man in cyan flew out from the crowd. Like a giant bird, he flew out lightly and landed on the ground. His body emitted an indescribable aura. It was as if he could communicate with the world and step into the realm of being one with the world. They didn't see him do anything. He just stood where he was and emitted an unshakable aura. It was as if he could communicate with the energy of countless wormholes and see through the world's illusions. Li Paoang of the Flying Celestial School. Many people were shocked. Even the strongest new disciple of the Flying Celestial School, Li Paoang, came out. His cultivation had also reached the peak of artifact forging. More importantly, Li Paoang's strength was unfathomable. He had formed a spiritual body. It was said that this kind of body was extremely special. It could communicate with the spirit and communicate with the power of the world. It could see through all illusions and make rapid progress in cultivation. It was also as if he had a heart of 7 delicacies. Li Paoang was also the last disciple of a sage of the Flying Celestial School. At this moment, the new disciples of the 5 great sects felt suffocated. Huayang of the 5 Element School, Shiranchang of the Gui Yuan School, Li Paoang of the Flying Celestial School, Meng Yunxiao of the Lingyun School, and Xia Ping of the Heaven and Earth School. Basically, the new disciples of the 5 great sects were gathered together. Moreover, it was the disciples of the 4 great sects fighting against Xia Ping of the Heaven and Earth School. Such a scene was really rare. Just the few of you? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and shook his head. None of you can break through to the true fire realm. You are only at the peak of the artifact forging realm. Even if the 4 of you work together, what can you do? However, since you dare to jump out and challenge me, you have some courage. You are different from those trash. Chapter 1397. Chicken or Dog. Hearing this, the expressions of Huayang, Shiranchang, Meng Yunxiao and Li Paoang changed. They didn't expect that even the 4 of them couldn't scare him. How dare he be so arrogant and call them chicken or dog? Wasn't he looking down on them a little too much? Brat, you are too arrogant. Let me see what you are capable of then. In an instant, Shiranchang attacked. With a punch, it was as though all the earth energy in the world was controlled by him. Mystic Art Mother Earth Fist. Everyone in the surroundings instantly felt the world shaking. It was as though the energy in this world was about to explode. A stone giant rose from the depths of the earth. Boundless earth energy surged out, wanting to turn everything in the world into chaos. What a terrifying strength. Everyone was astonished. They could clearly feel the terrifying strength in Shiranchang's body. He was clearly just a human, but it was as though there was an ancient giant living in his body. That punch had the strength to carry a mountain. It was as though thousands of mountains were crushing down. No matter what it was, it would turn into dust. This was the pure strength of strength. Although it looked simple, it was unparalleled. This was the terrifying strength of the body of stone. Xiaoping looked at this punch calmly. His eyes were calm like an ancient lake without any ripples. He stretched out his hand and in his palm yin-yang, 8 trigrams, 9 palaces, etc. appeared. Between the heaven and earth, boundless yin and yang energy gathered at the center of the formation, forming a gigantic chaos millstone. His entire body was like an ancient god that walked out from the chaos. Dong. Just like that, he caught the fist formed from the power of the earth with his bare hands. The power of the hundreds of thousands of mountains instantly turned into nothingness and disappeared without a trace, as if it had been obliterated by the chaos millstone. My God! Everyone's scalps turned numb. This is the great yin-yang tablet smashing palm? Defeating Zhu Xinliang earlier was just a small test. This is the true strength of this mystic art. The great yin-yang tablet breaking hand is the ultimate technique of the heaven and earth faction. It is the trump card of the heaven and earth faction's ancestor. With one palm strike, it has the power to crush stars. Xiaoping really succeeded in cultivating it. How powerful is Shiranchang? He has condensed a body of rock and is the son of the earth. His martial arts mystic art, the Mother Earth Fist, is the condensation of the power of the earth in a radius of 1,000 miles, and then fused them together to form an ultimate attack. This punch can shatter the earth, and it is equivalent to thousands of mountains crashing down. Ordinary people would be smashed into dust. But now, this kid actually caught it with his bare hands and turned the boundless power of the earth into nothingness. This is too terrifying. Just how powerful is this Xiaoping? Moreover, this is just the beginning. This kid hasn't used his full strength yet. The new disciples of the 5 great sects were all shocked again and again. They felt that the competition had only just begun, but it had already exceeded their imaginations. They were not even in the same dimension as this monster. Not only these new disciples, but many of the elders also had serious expressions on their faces. They could feel endless potential from Xiaoping's body, as if he was an invincible saint walking in the mortal world. In the future, perhaps it wouldn't take long for him to reach their martial arts realm, or even surpass it. Brother Shi, let me help you. At this time Huayang of the 5 Elements sect also made his move. He could feel that Shiranchang alone was not a match for Xiaoping. If they exchanged a few more blows, Shiranchang might be beaten half to death. Saber Dao Mystic Art, 7 Styles of Sky Opening. He immediately activated the diamond body, and the endless golden hepta-chi of heaven and earth was absorbed into his body. His entire person seemed to have turned into a glaring diamond body, and the saber chi crisscrossed. He held the black saber in his hand, and with a slash, the void seemed to have been split open. It was as if the sky and earth were being split open. And each of the Saber Dao seemed to have given birth to thousands of Saber Dao masters. Each Saber Dao master held a long saber in their hand, and performed countless Saber Dao secret arts, covering everything. These saber chi also contained strong golden hepta chi, and together with Huayang's diamond body, it was like adding wings to a tiger. The saber chi was so sharp that even the mica steel shell of the battleship would be easily cut into pieces. Infernal golden crow wings. In an instant, Xiaoping immediately exploded the infernal golden crow body, and a pair of wings appeared on his back. One was gold and the other was black. Both wings were densely packed with primordial runes. They were all condensed from the infernal golden crow flames, and the moment they appeared, they immediately exploded tens of feet high. Terrifying flames erupted from his body, and swept out for tens of miles. Boom. Just the appearance of the infernal golden crow wings caused a terrifying power. It was as if the sky was being torn apart, and there were rolling torrents of flames in all directions. Bang bang bang. In the void, the saber chi that came towards Xia Ping was instantly shaken into powder when they came into contact with the torrents of flames. The endless golden hepta chi was also burned into molten iron. With a splash, a large amount of molten metal fell from the sky, dripping onto the ground and immediately melting the ground as if it had turned into magma. Retreat, retreat quickly. The faces of the new disciples from the 5 sects changed. They could feel the terror of the flames. If they came into contact with even a little bit of it, their entire bodies would be burned to ashes. They risked their lives and quickly retreated for tens of miles, in case they got caught in the crossfire. Many disciples still had lingering fears, because the moment they quickly retreated, drops of flames fell, dripping onto the ground where they were standing. In just a breath's time, the ground had turned into a sea of fire, burning so hot that even a rock that was half the height of a human was quickly burned into magma, flowing everywhere and steaming hot. This is the power of mystical flames. Many of the elders' eyes shone with a frightening light. They were experienced and knowledgeable, so how could they not know how terrifying these flames were? Only by devouring all kinds of mystical flames in the world could the power of the flames in their bodies be so terrifying. If one did not have a way to fight back, just the mystical flames alone would be enough to burn the enemy into ashes. Take this. Xia Ping straightened his palm, and his palm turned into a saber, slashing toward Shiranchang and Huaiyang. Under the slash of his hand, a mark of the sky appeared. It was as if the slash could split the space, leaving a mark in the void. Such a mark was shocking, as if it was connected to the depths of the void, resonating with the world. His body also surged with a terrifying power of flames, which turned into a flaming saber. When it was in the air, it suddenly turned into a flaming bird flying towards the two. Oh no! Chapter 1398. Bang. The power of this slash was too terrifying. Even the space vibrated hundreds of thousands of times. It landed on Shiranchang and Huaiyang, instantly shattering their defensive god art. Even the terrifying power of fire seeped into their bodies, wanting to burn every single one of their cells. They felt like they were in the middle of a sea of hellfire and were being tortured. It was a fate worse than death. Xia Ping, don't be arrogant. At this moment, Li Paoang finally made his move. Seeing that Shiranchang and Huaiyang were in danger, he didn't want Xia Ping to continue being arrogant, so he used all of his power. Martial Path Divine Ability, Mixed Elements 8 Dispersing Hands. In an instant he turned into 8 figures. Some were skilled with blades, some were skilled with swords, some were skilled with fists, some were skilled with palms, some were skilled with legs, some were skilled with spears, some were skilled with spears, and some were skilled with fingers. Each figure was at the peak of the treasure refinement realm. Then they gathered together and turned into the power of mixed elements. It was as if all the chaotic energy in the world had gathered together and created a whirlpool. This power immediately landed on the flaming blade energy, and it hit the weak point of the flames. It was as if 4 ounces of weight had been reduced to nothing. Bang bang bang. Immediately, the flaming blade energy in the air was shattered into nothingness and disappeared from the world. Shiranchang and Huaiyang looked at Li Paoang gratefully. If Li Paoang hadn't made a move, they would have been heavily injured. Not bad. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows and just stared at Li Paoang. Brother Xia, you are indeed very amazing. However, in the face of my psychic eye, all your attacks are useless. I can see through everything you do. Li Paoang was very arrogant. There seemed to be a profound and mysterious formation deep inside his eyes. There was a faint golden light that seemed to connect with the world and pierce through space. He could see the densely packed lines in the air. This was his psychic eye, able to deduce and calculate everything. It was as if he could foresee the future. Any enemy who stood before his eyes would be unable to hide any secrets. Useless? You think a little too highly of your eyes. Xia Ping flapped his wings. In an instant he seemed to have traveled through space, surpassing the speed of sound. Without a sound he arrived before Li Paoang and punched. He wanted to kill Li Paoang with a thunderous punch. Too fast. The disciples of the 5 great sects were all shocked. This kind of speed was simply unbelievably fast. Even their divine senses could not capture it. It was soundless and did not leave any traces behind. In the face of such speed no one could withstand it. Haha, brother Xia, you fell for it. In the face of Xia Ping's speed, Li Paoang not only didn't panic, but was actually quite pleased with himself, as if he had already predicted that Xia Ping would fall for his trick. Seal it for me. At this moment, a voice rang out beside Xia Ping. It was Meng Yunxiao of the Lingyun sect. He had transformed into a cloud and mist body, hiding in the void and waiting beside Li Pewang. He had been waiting to deal a fatal blow to Xia Ping. Martial arts mystical ability, innate cloud mist lock. Xia Ping immediately used one of his most powerful divine powers. His body exuded a majestic mist aura. It was formless and intangible. Wisps of mist turned into order chains and covered Xia Ping's body in an instant. Huh? Xia Ping raised an eyebrow. He immediately saw that the endless mist in the sky had gathered around Meng Yunxiao's body and turned into iron chains. In an instant, his 4 limbs were all locked down as if he had been sealed. Moreover, the chains formed by the mist were extremely sturdy. They were 10 times stronger than mica steel. Even if a divine beast cub was locked down by the mist, it would not be able to move. I see. You have been lying in ambush beside Li Pewang for a long time. Xia Ping nodded. Meng Yunxiao said proudly, "That's right. Brother Li and I worked together to set up this trap to lure you into our trap. Once you are hit by my natural mist chains, even if you have the bloodline of the ancient giants, you will not be able to escape. In fact, the more powerful you are, the stronger the binding power. Xia Ping, you have lost this time." Lost? What a joke. Did you think I didn't notice you lying in ambush beside Li Pewang? Xia Ping said calmly. But I fell for it on purpose. I wanted you to feel despair and unparalleled power. Rumble. At this moment, an aura 10 times more terrifying than before erupted from Xia Ping's body. His heart was beating like a war drum. Every beat could shatter steel, causing the blood of the surrounding cultivators to boil and almost vomit blood. This was the heartbeat of the Golden Crow of Hell. The Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline in his body was completely stimulated. 100,000 cells trembled and endless fire energy surged out of his body. With Xia Ping at the center, a terrifying golden flame exploded. In the depths of the void, the image of a Golden Crow of Hell appeared, like a sun rising into the sky. This kind of aura could sweep away all demons and ghosts in the world. Not good. Quick, we can't let him use his full power. Stop him immediately. Otherwise we will lose for sure. Li Pewang's expression changed drastically. His psychic eye madly calculated, and the numbers on Xia Ping's body increased exponentially. But the numbers reached an extreme. Li Pewang's calculation ability was not enough. It was beyond his imagination. His eyeballs were boiling and almost exploding. If this continued, they would lose for sure. Hearing this, Meng Yunxiao, Shiranchang, and Hua Yang immediately made their moves. They were all geniuses, so they didn't need to say anything. They immediately used their full strength to attack Xia Ping. Fools! Xia Ping took a step forward and stomped on the void. With a boom, a terrifying flame energy swept out in all directions, causing the sky to tremble. The cloud chains that were binding him were instantly burned to ashes. How could the power of clouds and mist withstand the power of the infernal Golden Crow's flames? Everything would be reduced to nothingness by these flames. Golden Crow of Hell's claw. He stood in place and clawed at the 4 of them. This claw was earth-shattering. It was as if the entire sky was grasped by this claw. In the outer realm, many stars were trembling as if they were trembling under this claw. The natural energy of heaven and earth formed a vortex, and the power of heaven and earth was grabbed by this claw. Then it gathered together, condensed into one, and exploded in all directions. It's over. Li Pewang and the others were in despair. They felt the world darken and all light disappear. It was as if the energy of heaven and earth was being destroyed by this claw. Chapter 1399. That's enough. Just at this moment, a voice rang out, permeating the air and sweeping through the world, suppressing the universe. Dong! A huge hand stretched out and smacked the golden hell crow claw. Space immediately froze, and all the energy turned into nothingness, silently dissipating. The person who had made a move was a lightning tribulation elder. He was a flying immortal sect elder. When he saw Li Pewang and the others in danger, he could no longer hold back and immediately made a move to save them. Otherwise, it would be a joke if the sect's geniuses fell before the experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield began. Xia Ping had expected this long ago, so he did not panic. The instant that elder made a move, he retreated several kilometers to avoid getting caught up in the shockwaves. Elder Su. Li Pewang looked gratefully at this flying immortal sect elder. Fortunately, he had made a move in time. Otherwise, even if they did not die, they would be severely injured. How would they be able to participate in the experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield? Meng Yunxiao and the others felt a lingering fear in their hearts. Originally they thought that victory was in their grasp. Who could have expected Xiaoping to be so ferocious? Even in a 1 versus 4 situation he could still defeat them. Let's end this matter here. If there's anything else, we can talk about it after the fiendish demon battlefield opens. What do you think? The flying immortal sect elder looked at Xiaoping. He looked amiable on the surface, but he was extremely frustrated in his heart. This was because Xiaoping's actions had caused the flying immortal sect to lose face. How could he be in a good mood? If it wasn't for the fact that Xiaoping was the disciple of the Dark North Saint, he would have slapped him to death. Very well. Since the elder has made a move, it would be inexcusable if I did not give him face. However, after this battle you should know who the boss is. Xiaoping stood upright with his hands behind his back. Among the new disciples of the 5 great sects, I, Xiaoping, am the strongest. Who is not convinced? He swept his gaze over the new disciples of the 4 great sects, looking down on the world. Damn it. When the disciples of the 4 great sects heard this, they felt extremely sullen. However, they had nothing to say. After all, even when Li Paoang and the other geniuses worked together, Xiaoping easily defeated them. No matter how angry they were no match for Xiaoping. Would they really challenge Xiaoping? At that time they would also be defeated. In that case it would be even more humiliating. It was better to say nothing. Looks like no one else dares to challenge me. If that's the case, I'll become the leader of the new disciples of the 5 great sects and lead the crowd. I don't think any of you have any objections, right? Xiaoping continued. Hearing this, someone immediately exploded. Xiaoping, stop dreaming. You want to be the number 1 disciple of the 5 great sects? You want to be the leader and rule the 5 great sects? You're not qualified yet. They could admit that Xiaoping was the strongest existence among the new disciples, but it was impossible for them to admit that Xiaoping was the leader of the new disciples of the 5 major sections. After all, once something like this became a reality, wouldn't it mean that the Jianghu faction was the leader of the other 4 great sects and would be able to suppress them? This was related to the honor of the sect, so it was impossible for them to agree to such a ridiculous matter. Many sect elders had ugly expressions on their faces when they heard this. This Xiaoping was truly ambitious and did not hide it at all. That's right. I admit that you are very strong. However, you are still far from being the leader. If you want to rule the 5 great sects, it is not just strength. You also need character, influence and so on. Your actions cannot convince us. That's right, that's right. Furthermore, this is experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield. It is a competition of who can kill the most fiendish demons. Sometimes, the strongest might not be the strongest. It also depends on the right time, the right place and the right people. The Lingyun sect disciples were all unconvinced, refusing to acknowledge Xiaoping as the leader. Not acknowledging me as the leader? If you run into any danger in the fiendish demon battlefield and ask me for help, I will not save you. You have to consider this carefully. Xiaoping said. Save my ass. This old man is a treasure-refining realm cultivator. I have a medial-grade spirit weapon. Killing fiendish demons is like cutting grass. Why would I need you to save me? Damn your 18 generations of ancestors. Are you trying to take advantage of me? Even if this old man dies, I will not ask you for help. Fucking Jianghu sect, you are looking down on us too much. Our 4 great sects have never lost to anyone. This group of people was infuriated. All of them were geniuses of saint-ranked sects and had absolute confidence in their strength. Otherwise, they would not have dared to participate in this experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield. Even if there was only one of them, they would be able to walk freely in the fiendish demon battlefield. Hence, why would they need Xiaoping's help? This bastard was looking down on them too much. Did he think they were children that needed to be taken care of? At this moment they felt extremely sullen in their hearts. They wished they could immediately teach Xiaoping a lesson and prove their strength. Xiaoping, come back. The fiendish demon battlefield is about to start. A Jianghu sect elder immediately urged Xiaoping to come back. He saw that the elders of the other 4 great sects' faces were as black as charcoal. It seemed like they were about to flip out. Although he felt inexplicably happy when he saw the Lingyun sect's people so angry yet helpless, it would not be a joke if he incited their anger. It was better to stop before going too far. In the distance, Yi Mingyao was also among the Lingyun sect's disciples. She was already an elder of the Lingyun sect. Her strength was not inferior to the older generation. Hence she came along as well. She looked at Xiaoping with a strange expression. She felt that Xiaoping was truly a scoundrel, infuriating others to death. However, she felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity toward this kind of character. It was like she had seen him somewhere before. But when she thought about it carefully, she felt that she was overthinking. After all, that scoundrel was a super swindler. He was so evil that he would not even let off children. How could he be a disciple of a sage? No matter what, as a disciple of a sage, she still had to have some style and face. Yes, elder. Xiaoping nodded and immediately returned to the Chengquan sect's camp. The people from the other sects also heaved a sigh of relief. This scoundrel finally stopped harming others. Emin, let's open the fiendish demon battlefield. The elders of the 5 great sects exchanged glances and nodded. They immediately took action and executed their arts. Boom. In an instant, a gigantic golden notice appeared in midair. It was as if it was engraved in the air, emitting an indescribable aura that merged with the world. It was as if it had existed since ancient times. Densely packed ancient words immediately appeared on the golden notice. Each word seemed to contain a mysterious power. When many ancient words were combined together, they formed a world. Xiaoping and the others immediately raised their heads and looked over. When they saw this golden notice, they instantly felt indescribably shocked. They could feel a vast and mighty power that seemed to contain the universe. Chapter 1400. This is the holy tool, the heavenly mystery ranking. An elder's voice rang out. It is in charge of monitoring the entire fiendish demon battlefield. It can monitor the situation of the entire battlefield and make predictions. It also contains the power of the world. Immediately send a strand of your spiritual sense into the heavenly mystery ranking. That way you will be able to leave your information on the heavenly mystery ranking. After you enter the fiendish demon battlefield, the heavenly mystery ranking will sense the number of fiendish demons and heavenly demons you kill and convert them into points. Of course, the stronger the fiendish demons and heavenly demons you kill, the more points you will obtain. The experiential training period is 30 days. Once the 30 days are up, the supreme power of the heavenly mystery ranking will activate automatically and pull you back from the fiendish demon battlefield. Of course, if you feel that you are severely injured and unable to continue with the experiential training, you can summon the heavenly mystery ranking in your heart. That way the heavenly mystery ranking will send you back. However, this way you will be giving up on the competition and your points will return to 0. Do you understand? Xiao Chen's voice spread for hundreds of kilometers, allowing everyone present to hear him clearly. Understood. Everyone roared and immediately took action, sending a strand of their mental energy into the golden heavenly mystery ranking. Xiaoping also made a move. With a thought, a strand of his spiritual sense quickly entered the heavenly mystery ranking. Boom. In the next second, Xiao Chen felt like his spiritual sense seemed to merge into a world, permeating space and being absorbed by the heavenly mystery ranking. He immediately felt a lot of information appear in his mind. The heavenly mystery ranking even gave off a mysterious energy that supported him. It was like it was inseparable from him. With a thought, he could drive the power of the heavenly mystery ranking. It was probably because of the heavenly mystery ranking's power that the 5 major sects were constantly undergoing experiential training in the fiendish demon battlefield. After all, the people participating in the experiential training were the genius disciples of the various sections. If they met with an accident and fell in the fiendish demon battlefield, it would be equivalent to the end of an era. This was a burden that the sects could not bear. Although experiential training was a way for the disciples to strengthen themselves, there was no need to send them to their deaths. The heavenly mystery ranking was a powerful magic treasure that could prevent accidental deaths to the greatest extent. With the heavenly mystery ranking, the disciples would not have to worry. Once any danger occurred, they could immediately summon the heavenly mystery ranking to send them back. Yes, open the passage. Seeing that all the disciples had sent their divine senses into the Tianji ranking, the elders of the 5 sects exchanged glances. They immediately formed hand seals, activating a huge and profound array in the depths of the spatial crack. Rumble, at that moment huge matrices appeared one after another, and the black chains of order shattered one after another. A mysterious power pierced through the void, blasting into the depths of the sky. The surrounding vital chi of the world exploded and gathered together, rapidly forming a black vortex that was thousands of kilometers wide. The moment this black vortex condensed, countless terrifying demonic chi spewed out from the depths of the vortex. It was as if the sky had been dyed black, and even space itself had been corroded. In the depths of the vortex, one could vaguely hear billions of demons wailing, roaring, and hissing. A terrifying demonic aura pervaded the surroundings, condensing into something solid, as if there were heavenly demons condensed, and countless skeletons were howling ferociously. Dong. In the end, this black vortex seemed to stabilize and a shattering sound came from it. It seemed like it had pierced through the spatial barrier and arrived at another space and time. Immediately, a deep, vast and ancient passageway appeared before everyone. This passageway seemed to have existed since ancient times. Its depths were dark and serene, like it led to the depths of hell. It made one's scalp go numb. As for the passageway's entrance, it was pitch black with surging demonic chi. There was resentment, evil, demonic chi and other dark auras in it. They were nearly solid and seeped out. Just a trace of them was enough to drive ordinary living beings crazy, turning them into demons. Is this the passageway to the fiendish demon battlefield? This is really horrifying. The demonic chi is so solid that it is about to turn into demons. I feel that I can't even stand to stay at the side for an hour. However, we actually have to train in there for a month. Furthermore, I heard that there is no food in the fiendish demon battlefield. We need to carry several months' worth of food in our spatial rings. Otherwise we will starve to death in there. I can sense countless demons roaring in the depths of the passageway. I can't imagine what kind of horrifying things will happen if the demons in there escape. What else can happen? There will definitely be a great calamity. Did our ancestors in the ancient era fight against such monsters? How horrifying. That must have been a rather bitter battle. Many of the new disciples were suppressed by this demonic chi. Although there were endless battles in the universe and many battles were rather bitter, they were not worth mentioning when compared to a battle between demons. This was because demons were the common enemy of all races. They were natural killing machines born to destroy life. Fighting against such monsters was completely different. When they thought about fighting against such monsters, fiendish demons, they trembled in fear. Fiendish demons? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked at the deep, dark passageway. Dense, majestic and deep demonic chi came from the depths of the passageway, nearly turning the sky dark. There were many demonic figures in the depths of the passageway. It seemed like countless demons were trying to escape from the depths of the passageway. However, they were all suppressed by the power of the various formations, unable to come out. Whoosh! Xiaoping took a deep breath. He had a completely different feeling towards the place that everyone else was afraid of. He felt that there was a mysterious force in the depths of the passageway that was attracting him. This was like a wanderer returning home. Xiaoqun could not wait to enter the fiendish demon battlefield and fight. It felt like he wanted to consume every strand of demonic chi in this place, which could greatly improve his golden crow of hell bloodline. To be honest, although the infernal golden crow bloodline in his body had the power of the golden crow, the power of hell was still very scarce. Perhaps it was because he had never been to hell before. Even though this fiendish demon battlefield was not a hellish existence, it still had a power close to that of hell. Go in, don't waste time. An elder instructed the new disciples. Yes. Everyone took a deep breath. At this point it was no longer possible to retreat. Everyone formed groups and quickly flew into the air, quickly entering the dark passageway. Basically, everyone had their own small team. After all, moving alone in such a dangerous fiendish demon battlefield was simply too dangerous. That would be seeking death. Xiaoping was no exception. He formed a team with LV1Ho and the others. Let's go. Xiaoping said as he flew up. LV1Ho and the others nodded. Without hesitation they followed Xiaoping into the depths of the passageway. Chapter 1401. Fiendish Demon Battlefield. What an evil demonic aura. Is this the fiendish demon continent of the universe's abyss? Everyone arrived at the fiendish demon battlefield and stood on a scarlet land. They immediately sensed the terrifying demonic aura in the air. It contained massacre, corrosion, madness, and other negative emotions. It was like it was going to infect their souls. This was not a place for living beings. Boom. Subconsciously, all the Jianghu sect disciples circulated their magic power. A protective barrier appeared around their bodies, isolating them from the demonic aura. Only then did they feel more comfortable. The moment they entered the fiendish demon battlefield, the disciples of the other four sects had already parted ways with the Jianghu sect. Only the Jianghu sect disciples remained here. The Lingyun sect disciples and the others had very dark expressions. They did not want to stay with the Jianghu sect's people. This was because Xiaoping, this jinx, was here. After all, this bastard had slapped them in the face. They were already on good terms with him if they did not do anything to him. It was simply wishful thinking to fight alongside this bastard. Hence, the moment they entered the fiendish demon battlefield, they could not wait to leave this bastard. Of course, the Jianghu sect disciples did not mind. At the start, they did not intend to stay with the disciples of the other sections. Evil? However, this is really dense demonic aura. It is too comfortable. Unlike the others, Xiaoping did not activate the protective barrier. He took a deep breath, and a large amount of demonic aura entered his body through his pores. To other humans, this demonic aura was toxic and should not be touched. However, to him it was a great supplement. It was even better than the essence energy of the world. Halala, he circulated his magic art, and the vast demonic aura quickly entered his body, permeating his limbs and bones. Every cell in his body merged with his magic power. The dark demonic aura immediately gathered into many mysterious black talismans. The depths of the talismans turned into a whirlpool like the primal chaos. These talismans immediately formed the most primitive cells. The golden crow cells in Xiaoping's body were cheering, happily devouring the demonic aura. The golden crow cells were awakening rapidly. His bloodline was also tainted with a trace of the aura of the abyss. His magic power also continued to rise. It seemed like he was about to advance to the peak of the middle-stage treasure refining realm. He would probably be able to advance to the late-stage treasure refining realm soon. It is indeed a cultivation paradise. Xiaoping rejoiced. To him, this fiendish demon battlefield was like a blessed land for cultivation. The deep abyss demonic chi here was simply too dense. Just absorbing a little of it was like absorbing essence liquid of the world. Moreover, this abyssal devil energy could also help him awaken the power of hell. However, this was not the time to cultivate. After all, this was the fiendish demon battlefield. There were many fiendish demons here, the main camp of the enemy. He needed to understand the situation here first. He observed his surroundings and found that they had appeared in a mountain range that stretched for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. In the distance, there were abyssal mountains one after another. Each mountain was tens of thousands of meters tall and extremely majestic. There are 3 orange suns in the sky, emitting a faint light, covering every corner of this demon continent, barely allowing people to see some light. I didn't expect the demon continent to have a sun. I thought it was a dark world with no light at all. Someone also found the sun in the sky. Idiot, that's not the sun at all. Someone sneered, in the universe's abyss, there are only demons and heavenly demons. What do you mean? Many people were puzzled. It's literally what it means. There are 3 terrifying great demons in the sky, called bright sun demons. They usually sleep in the sky above the demon continent, emitting a faint light that shines on the earth. But once they wake up, it's time for them to hunt. Wherever their sun shines, it will become their hunting ground. Hundreds of millions of demons will become their food. Fortunately, these bright sun demons are rare, and they often only wake up once in decades or centuries. Otherwise, the demons of the entire demon continent will be extinct and eaten by them. When these bright sun demons appeared in the universe, they were extremely terrifying. They devoured stars one after another, turning the area of hundreds of millions of light years into a land of death. Even the saints were their food. Fortunately, it's their hibernation period and they haven't woken up yet. Otherwise, if we were discovered by these bright sun demons, we wouldn't even need to go through the trial, we would all die. Someone said in a deep voice. Everyone's heart palpitated. This was indeed the demon continent. There was danger everywhere. Even the sun in the sky was a demon. It was an evil existence that hunted and killed living beings. It was really too terrifying. Bright sun demon? Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. In fact, when he looked up at the sky, he immediately sensed the existence of the 3 great demons in the sky, which was a throb from his bloodline. If he could devour the bloodline of these 3 bright sun demons, it would definitely awaken his Hell Golden Crow bloodline to a terrifying level, and it would also allow him to reach an unimaginable martial arts realm. But it was still too early to say this, because the strength of these 3 bright sun demons was extremely terrifying. It was not something he could resist, and the other party lived in the sky, so it was not easy to reach. There are actually plants in the demon continent? Someone looked around and found that in some places, there were patches of gray weeds that turned into grasslands. There were also plants growing on the mountains like a dense forest. Don't act rashly. This is not ordinary grass, it's soul-devouring grass. Kuer's expression turned grave. Once someone steps into the territory of the soul-devouring grass, it will immediately release a bewitching fragrance, causing people to sink into it. After that, they will unknowingly become their food, leaving not even a corpse behind. Even in the demon continent, this kind of place is a forbidden land. Demons are not willing to enter. Also, those are not ordinary plants either. They are plant-type demons. They usually disguise themselves as trees, but if prey approaches they will definitely kill and instantly kill the enemy. In short, in this demon continent, aside from rocks and soil, the other living beings are all demons or heavenly demons. They have horrifying destructive power, and you will die if you are not careful. He looked at the many Jianghu sect disciples with a warning look. Hearing this, the many Jianghu sect disciples paled. They already knew that the fiendish demon battlefield was a terrifying place, and the slightest mistake could result in death. However, they had not expected this place to be so horrifying. Indeed, they had a trace of the heavenly mystery rankings power on them. If something was wrong, they could immediately use this power to leave the fiendish demon battlefield. The problem was that when they left the fiendish demon battlefield, there would be a pause of 1 second. If they were careless, this 1 second would be enough to claim their lives. Chapter 1402. Rumble. Just as the disciples of Jianghu sect were carefully inspecting the environment of the demonic continent and familiarizing themselves with this place, there was a violent tremor not far away, as if there was a huge earthquake within 100 miles. Be careful, there are demons coming. LV Wenho's expression was solemn. His divine sense was keen, and he sensed a tyrannical demonic aura spreading over. It was as if a demon was controlling the demonic wind. A dark demonic aura covered the sky, dyeing it the color of ink. The chilly wind blew and ghosts wailed. Not long after, a group of demons appeared from the black demonic wind. They walked out from the depths of a mountain. They were in groups and there were more than 10,000 of them. These demons had 2 horns on their heads for hooves, and a height of 2 to 3 meters like a bull. However, their horns were curved like mysterious abyssal runes. There was a demonic eye between their eyebrows, which was filled with dense demonic aura at all times. It seemed to be devouring the power of this dark abyss, which made people's hearts palpitate. Be careful, it's an abyssal bull demon. It's actually an abyssal bull demon? So unlucky. It is said that they are extremely strong, invulnerable, and control a demonic eye. They can control the power of the abyssal astral wind, and they like to travel in groups. Often, tens of thousands of abyssal bull demons trample over, and they can trample countless creatures into meat paste. Have we broken into the territory of abyssal bull demons? Damn, we must have accidentally broken into the territory of abyssal bull demons. They are extremely territorial, and they won't casually step into the territory of other demons. Moreover, these abyssal bull demons like to patrol their territory. Many disciples of Jianghu sect had very ugly expressions. They didn't expect to encounter tens of thousands of abyssal bull demons as soon as they arrived at the demonic continent. It was really unlucky. One should know that the strength of these abyssal bull demons was extremely terrifying. Each of them had the cultivation of divine realm. Even the leader of the abyssal bull demons was 8 meters tall, and its strength had reached the peak of treasure refining realm. To be honest, according to their strength, facing the attack of tens of thousands of abyssal bull demons, the odds of winning were not big. Even if they won, it would be a Pyrrhic victory and they would be eliminated on the first day. Humans, I smell the scent of humans. You're here again? Are these damn humans here again? Every few years, these humans always come to our demonic continent, but it is their misfortune to meet us. Kill them. I can feel that these humans are full of flesh and blood energy. They are great nourishment. Jia, it's been a long time since I've eaten a human. Today I'll definitely have a great feast. This is a lucky day for us abyssal ox demons. Kill. Crush these weak humans into meat paste. Many of the abyssal ox demons laughed cruelly. They spoke an ancient abyssal language that was different from the universe common language. It seemed to contain the power of the abyss. His every word resonated with the power of the abyss. Bang bang bang. In an instant, tens of thousands of abyssal ox demons moved. They rushed over from afar and their hooves trampled on the ground, causing the ground to resonate. The power between heaven and earth produced waves of fluctuations. Moreover, when these fluctuations attacked, they condensed into energy ripples. Along the way, rocks were shaken into powder, and dozens of astonishing cracks appeared on the ground, extending for more than 10 kilometers. This was one of the abyssal bull demon's mystiques, war trample. So strong. Many heaven and earth sect disciples had solemn expressions on their faces. They could feel how terrifying this war trample was. Layer after layer of ripples stacked on top of each other. When tens of thousands of ripples stacked on top of each other, the destructive power was simply unimaginable. Before these abyssal ox demons could even reach them, the weaker ones would probably die from the shockwaves. Senior brother Xia, someone exclaimed. This was because they realized that Xia Ping couldn't hold it in any longer. He single-handedly charged towards the group of abyssal ox demons. What? These demons are all mine. Xia Ping indeed couldn't hold it in any longer. The Hell Golden Crow bloodline in his body had long been boiling. Every drop of blood was boiling like lava, like a heavenly dragon swimming in his blood vessels. His heart was beating like a war drum. Every time it beat, it could shatter steel. This was because the power of these abyssal ox demons was attracting him. They were like pieces of delicious cake waiting for him to taste. Martial Mystique, Sun God Fist. He stood on the ground and punched in the air. The power of the deviant fire in his body surged into the depths of his fist. It was like a sun had gathered on his fist. An unimaginable ray of light shot out from the demon continent. It was like a sun rising into the sky. It was as though a ruler had descended. The sun soared across the sky, piercing through the dark sky and tearing apart the darkness. Dong. A terrifying power of flames erupted. In the sky, a fireball with a diameter of several thousand meters fell from the sky. It was like a star falling from outer space. With that abyssal ox demon as the center, the air within a radius of several tens of kilometers suddenly collapsed, producing an extremely terrifying shockwave. This shockwave was something that even experts at the peak of artifact refinement realm couldn't withstand. Instantly, that abyssal ox demon was completely shattered into pieces. Just like that, it turned into countless fragments and dissipated in this demon continent. At the same time, that fireball immediately exploded. Wisps of flames burst out, covering a radius of 100 miles. This region was turned into a sea of fire. Moreover, this wasn't an ordinary flame. It was the essence of the sun. This was the most tyrannical method to deal with the most mean and evil things. Any mean and evil things that came into contact with it would be turned into ashes. Not good. Quick retreat. This isn't an ordinary flame. It's an deviant fire. It's the sun's fire of extreme yang. Quick retreat. This human is a monster. Help. Can anyone help extinguish the flames on my body? I'm burning to death. Human, I won't let you go. I definitely won't let you go. Curse you. Even if I fall into the abyss, I will curse you. The demon gods will avenge us. You're dead. This time you're dead. None of you can escape. The abyssal ox demons all roared in despair. Because these flames touched their bodies. Just a trace of them was like a flame touching fuel. They immediately burst into flames. This was because the sun's fire had a great restraining effect on these abyssal ox demons. Just a little bit of power was enough to cause tons of damage to them. In just a few minutes, tens of thousands of abyssal ox demons were burned alive. Not a single one was left. A large number of demon cores were left on the ground. These were the essence of these abyssal ox demons. At this moment, Xia Ping suddenly felt a golden notice appear in his mind. He could clearly see his points on the notice. After killing these abyssal ox demons, his points were rising crazily. Chapter 1403. Holy shit, what did that bastard do? How did he gain more than 10,000 points all of a sudden? At that moment, Hua Yang and the others from the Five Elements sect also sensed the changes on the heavenly mystery list in their minds. They were still holding back their anger, trying to find an opportunity to prove that they were not inferior to Xia Ping. Even if their combat strength was not as good as that bastard's, the trial depended on who killed the most fiendish demons. Sometimes combat strength was not everything. Intelligence was also an important factor. But who would have thought that just at the beginning, a fiendish demon would be killed, and that bastard would gain more than 10,000 points? Did he kill more than 10,000 fiendish demons just now? Someone was dumbfounded. Cheating. That's definitely cheating. Is he a saint? How can he kill more than 10,000 fiendish demons so quickly? Even if those fiendish demons just stood there for him to kill, he wouldn't be able to kill them so quickly. Someone cursed loudly. He believed that the bastard Xia Ping must have found a way to cheat. Otherwise, the speed at which his points rose was like an airplane. It was completely unreasonable. How did he cheat? The heavenly mystery list is a sacred artifact. Who can hide from its power? Someone said helplessly. Everyone fell silent. They also knew that the heavenly mystery list was extremely powerful. Besides, it had an artifact spirit. The artifact spirit of a Dharma treasure of this level was not much different from a human's. It was an existence with intelligence. Even if someone found a loophole, they could quickly fix it. There was no way to hide from the heavenly mystery list. The problem was, if the heavenly mystery list really had no problems, how did that bastard Xiaoping do it? He had obtained more than 10,000 points in less than an hour. That was ridiculous. Forget it. Ignore that guy. Let's focus on killing fiendish demons. This trial will last for 30 days. It's still unknown who will emerge victorious. Huayang snorted coldly. Besides, killing more fiendish demons is not necessarily better. There is a limit to everything. If we kill too many fiendish demons and provoke a terrifying great fiendish demon, that kid is doomed. Senior Brother Hua is right. Killing more fiendish demons is not necessarily better. Whoever survives to the end is the real winner. If that punk accidentally offends a great fiendish demon and ends up being chased to the ends of the earth, his trial would be considered a failure, said Qin Yun. That's right. Once he returns early, his points will be reduced to 0 no matter how many points he has. The purpose of this training is to survive, not to kill demons. What does that guy know? His brain is full of muscles. The disciples of the Five Elements sect grimaced and desperately slandered Xiaoping. They even secretly cursed Xiaoping for encountering a great demon. If that happened, they would be able to win without a fight. Thinking of this, their mood instantly improved a lot. At this time, Ling Yun sect's Ming Yunxiao, Gui Yuan sect's Shuran Chang, Flying Celestial sect's Li Paoang and the others naturally received the news. However, they quickly threw this matter to the back of their minds. After all, the training had just begun, and it was still unknown who would emerge victorious. On the other hand, the elders of the 5 great system-allocated sects were chatting outside. Who do you think will get first place in this trial? An elder of the Lingyun sect asked. Do you even need to ask? Didn't you see the situation just now? My universe sect's disciple, Xiaoping, suppressed everyone, beating up your 4 great sects until they covered their heads and scurried away like rats, not even daring to let out a fart. If he is a number 1, who would dare to be number 1? A universe sect elder was very pleased with himself as he stroked his white beard. Hearing this, the elders of the Lingyun sect, 5 Elements sect, Guiyuan sect, and Flying Celestial sect were all enraged. Old man, don't be too arrogant. The trial has just begun. That's right. So what if he is strong? In the fiendish demon battlefield, it doesn't matter who is strong enough to survive to the end. There are countless fiendish demons in there, and there are many strong ones as well. Right? Once he encounters a great demon, that brat can only cover his head and flee. Although strength is very important in the fiendish demon battlefield, intelligence is also relatively important. In my opinion, that brat is arrogant and despotic. He might go around provoking fiendish demons and get eliminated immediately. It's easy to break something that's too rigid. Didn't many geniuses fall like this? The elders of the 4 great sects bared their teeth, feeling very unconvinced. All of them were eccentric, using all sorts of angles to belittle Xiaoping, believing that he could not possibly get first place in the trial. Jealousy. All of them are jealous. The Qingkuan sect elder remained calm and collected. Intelligence is indeed very important. However, does Xiaoping not have intelligence? He is probably even smarter than you old fogies. Damn it. Who are you calling an old fogey? Are you asking for a beating? Do you want to have a fight here? The group of elders were so angry that their beards stood up. Who is afraid of whom? However, if you are so confident in your sect's disciples, how about we make a bet? The Heaven and Earth sect's elder cast a sidelong glance. If Xiaoping obtains first place, then each of you will lose a supreme grade spirit artifact to me. If not, I will give each of you a supreme grade spirit artifact. How about it? Do you dare to make the bet? The Qingkuan sect elder directly started a bet. Old man, you are really daring to make a bet. Furthermore, you want to give each of us a peak grade spirit tool. Are you not afraid of losing all your fortune? The group of elders was dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, this fellow was so daring to make a bet that he did not care about his life. After all, although these elders were rich, a peak grade spirit tool was still a considerable amount of wealth. Moreover, each of them had 1 peak grade spirit tool. If they lost it, it was possible that they would go bankrupt. They would have to repay their debts for the rest of their lives. Why would I not dare to make a bet that I will definitely win? Instead, you guys are the ones who don't dare to make the bet. This is a chance for you to obtain a peak grade spirit tool. Are you guys even more cowardly than a mouse? The Qingkuan sect elder tried to goad Lin Fan into making a bet, revealing his disdain. Damn old man, you are actually trying to goad me into making a bet. If I don't agree, you will really think that I am a coward." Hearing this, the group of elders was instantly enraged. But before they could say anything, they immediately discovered that the points on the heavenly secret ranking had changed. Xiaoping's ranking rapidly rose to first. His points were like wild horses that were running wild, crazily rising to over 10,000 points. But what about the others? They only had 20 to 30 points at most, not even a fraction. Damn, what's going on with this fellow? Why did his points suddenly rise by over 10,000? Did he slaughter an entire demon tribe? The group of elders was stunned, completely unable to understand what was happening. This situation was simply too exaggerated. It was simply something that had never been seen before. Although there were times when there were geniuses who stood out from the crowd, the problem was that they had never been in the lead by so much from the start. This was no longer a lead of a few horse positions, it was a lead of several hundred laps, and there was no hope of catching up. "What's wrong? Are you still going to bet or not?" The Jianghu sect elder shouted, becoming even more arrogant. "I'm in about this, let's bet on who is in second place." The group of elders felt extremely sullen. Their faces were flushed red. Chapter 1404. Demonic Continent. Who? Xiaoping used the sun essence to kill 10,000 abyssal demons. He took a deep breath. Every pore on his body was like a Kuan Peng, swallowing the pure demonic energy left behind by the dead abyssal demons. Immediately, the magic power in his body increased rapidly. Even the hell golden crow cells in his body were awakening. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. The speed of awakening was many times faster than before. He felt his power increasing rapidly. It was not just power. His body's toughness, speed, recovery, stamina, power of the extraordinary flame, and so on were all increasing. Dong. Xiaoping felt his magic power increase to a certain extent. He had already touched the bottleneck of the middle stage of treasure refining realm. Just a little more and he would be able to break through to the late stage of treasure refining realm. He was very happy. If he wanted to reach this realm in the outside world, he would need at least several years. However, swallowing large amounts of abyssal demonic energy saved him a lot of time. This demon continent was simply a treasure land for cultivation, and one could cultivate by leaps and bounds. Senior brother Xia's strength is really terrifying. He killed 10,000 abyssal demons in one move. That's right. The might of the extraordinary flame is too horrifying. Those abyssal demons would be burned to ashes if they touched it. It's simply the bane of demons. Looks like we have no worries in the demonic battlefield if we follow senior brother Xia. He gained 10,000 points in an instant. This is just the beginning. What will happen next? Senior brother Xia will definitely be first. Many Qingkuan sect disciples were astonished. They were completely stunned by the scene just now. After all, 10,000 abyssal demons were terrifying. They had the power to destroy a country. However, Xiaoping burned them all with one fire. Not a single abyssal demon was left. How was this a battle? It was a massacre. They instantly felt at ease. It looked like as long as they followed Xiaoping, they wouldn't be in much danger in the demonic battlefield. At least, ordinary demons couldn't do anything to them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Xiaoping made a grabbing motion with his hand and immediately picked up the 10,000 monster cores on the ground. He sent his divine sense into them and immediately sensed that the monster cores contained abundant energy. Every demon core contained energy not inferior to a spirit herb. If they were swallowed, there would be many benefits. This was also one of the benefits of the experiential training. Many Qingkuan sect disciples immediately looked into the distance. There was a huge tremor coming from the depths of the mountain range. It was even greater than the tremor caused by the 10,000 abyssal ox demons. Tens of thousands of demons are coming. LV Wenho's face was solemn as he gripped his halberd tightly. He could sense powerful demonic auras coming from all directions from the depths of the mountain range. Demonic chi covered the sky and covered the earth. The battle with the abyssal ox demon had probably alarmed many demons in the depths of the mountain range. They had sensed the presence of humans, so they had come out one by one. In this abyss world, the aura of a human was like a light bulb in the darkness. It was incomparably dazzling and could not be hidden at all. Countless demons would discover it and chase after it. Rumble, in the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of fiendish devils flew out from the depths of the mountain range. There were abyssal ox devils, goat-horn devils, blazing devils, serpent devils, venomous devils, and more. These fiendish demons all exuded a sinister aura, and their demonic aura filled the sky. Humans, there really are humans here. Jia food, all of them are food. Eat them all. Don't snatch them from me or all of you will die. These humans are all mine. They are all disciples of the major human sections. Their blood energy is thick and they are all top-notch food. If I can eat these humans, I will definitely have a chance to become a devil god, a new generation of devil gods. Kill all of them. Seeing the disciples of the heaven and earth sect, the eyes of the fiendish demons shone with a ferocious light. It was as though they had seen a delicious meal. All of them swarmed over like locusts. The demonic chi they exuded was so dense that it covered the sky. Good timing. Once I kill all these fiendish demons, I will be able to break through to the late stage of the treasure refining realm. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. The blood in his body was boiling and his battle intent was soaring. He activated the pure yang immortal art and mobilized the pure yang energy in his body. Immediately the heavens and earth resonated. An ancient and huge array rose into the sky. Endless flame energy gathered in the center of the array. A huge crimson cloud formed from flames that covered a radius of 100 miles appeared above Xia Ping's head. Vaguely, there was the cry of a golden crow of hell in the depths of the cloud. The demonic chi in the surroundings sizzled under the burning of the flames. It melted like ice and snow. It was as though the entire world was purified by the flames and turned into a bright world. Fall. Xia Ping waved his hand. The crimson cloud roiled in flames like lava. Immediately, countless fireballs rained down from the sky like meteors. The fireballs formed from the essence of the sun fell instantly and bombarded the ground. Instantly, huge pits appeared in the ground. The earth trembled and there were explosions everywhere. Immediately, many fiendish demons were blasted to death. They were torn apart and screamed in pain. In fact, when these flames spread out and landed on the bodies of these abyssal demons, they immediately ignited and burned them to ash. As these fireballs rained down, the surrounding hundreds of miles turned into a sea of fire. Large numbers of fiendish demons died. There was no need for Xia Ping to act personally. With just a thought, countless fireballs rained down, burning the fiendish demons to death and plundering their demon cores. Kill. Seeing this, LV1 Ho and the others didn't hesitate. They knew this was a great opportunity and immediately attacked these fiendish demons. Bang bang bang. The fiendish demons were caught off guard and were instantly killed by these Jianghu sect disciples. Their bodies were all cut into pieces. Originally they thought they were the hunters. They didn't expect that they would suddenly become the prey. They became ghosts under the blades of the Jianghu sect disciples. Now even if they wanted to escape they couldn't. Xia Ping felt very comfortable. He greedily absorbed the pure demonic chi in the air. Originally this demonic chi contained a terrifying demonic nature. Ordinary people couldn't absorb it at all. Once absorbed, they would be corroded by the power of the abyss and gradually become demonic creatures, losing their rationality. But under the refinement of the golden crow of hell's bloodline, the demonic nature was instantly refined. Only the purest energy was left, like the heaven and earth essence energy. Seems like I'm about to break through? Xia Ping's thoughts moved. He felt that the spiritual energy in his body had reached a limit. He was about to break through to the late stage of the treasure refining realm. Chapter 1405. In the depths of the demon continent in a valley. At this moment, the demonic aura in this valley soared into the sky, blotting out the sky and covering the earth as if it had turned into a dark demonic domain. Countless devils were roaring, and even the ground was eroded black, filled with a terrifying abyss aura. In this valley, tyrannical great demons gathered together. Each of them had at least the strength of Law Manifestation Realm, and there were many Thunder Retribution Realm demons. But there were no saint-level demons because this demon continent had once fought with humans, and the tyrannical demons were basically wiped out. Moreover, once a demon of this level appeared, it would probably cause a big disaster, so the saints were always monitoring. Once there were signs, they would kill them. Damn it, that group of humans came to our demon continent to train again. It's really arrogant. What do they think our demon continent is, a training ground for those humans? They simply treat us demons like pigs and dogs, killing us at will. It's really hateful. The great demons gnashed their teeth. They hated this kind of thing very much, but they were meat on the chopping block and they couldn't compete with the power of humans at all. Don't pretend, even if hundreds of millions of those low-level demons die, you probably won't feel the slightest heartache. Let's hurry up and talk about business. A Thunder Retribution Realm Abyssal Ox demon said. Hearing this, the other demons all laughed. It was indeed the case. These demons were all born from the abyss. They had no parents and were cruel and evil by nature. There was only one rule in this abyss world, and that was the survival of the fittest. The so-called morality was simply a joke to them. They didn't have so many sentimental feelings. Even if hundreds of millions of demons died, it wouldn't hurt them. And when humans came to the demon continent to train, they only had a small number of enemies. Usually when these demons fought with each other, it was unknown how many would die. That was why these demons were terrifying. Zach, don't be so nervous. Aren't we just playing before the start of the meeting? It is said that humans seem to be filled with righteous indignation over the death of their companions. They will share a common enemy and hatred will arise. I have to say that this feeling is very interesting. A Thunder Retribution Realm demon laughed. Cut the crap. Abyssal Ox demon Zach said impatiently, this king didn't come to this meeting for fun. How is the arrangement of the demonic yin-yang reversal array? Did you succeed? Of course we've succeeded. That's only natural. In order to set up this formation we've put in a lot of effort. We've been setting it up for over 100 years and enduring for a very long time. Once this heavenly demon yin-yang reversal great formation is activated, it will immediately deceive the heavenly secrets and isolate the power of the sacred artifact heavenly secret list. At that time, this group of humans who came to the demon continent to gain experience will not be able to escape. That group of humans are so arrogant and dare to come to the demon continent to gain experience. Isn't it relying on the power of the sacred tool Tianji list to escape at any time? With the power of the Tianji board isolated, I want to see how those humans die. The great fiendish demons revealed cruel looks in their eyes as they surged with killing intent. But after doing this kind of thing there is no turning back. This move will definitely anger those human forces. At that time, the demons on this demon continent will suffer heavy casualties. A demon asked. This is nothing. Didn't we already decide? A demon sneered, once we kill that group of humans, immediately escape with these human heads, go to another demon continent, and enter the depths of the abyss. In this way no matter how powerful those humans are, they can't do anything to us. As for those low-level demons it doesn't matter how many of them die. Anyway after a period of time, the abyss will continue to breed again. Indeed, even sages do not dare to enter the abyss of the universe at will. That place contains incomparably terrifying demonic energy and the will of the abyss. In the face of this kind of power, the body of a sage will be eroded. If they stay a little longer, the sage will be demonized and completely corroded. With the heads of these humans as a proof of allegiance, I believe that we can also live well when we go to another more powerful demon continent. We can even become stronger and have the hope of becoming demon saints. A great demon showed a trace of ambition. The demon continent where they were located was too small, and their strength was weak. There was not even a demon saint. Surviving in such a small place, they had no hope of going further. Therefore they longed to go to a higher level abyss continent. These humans are hard currency. A heavenly demon said. In this abyss world, humans are equivalent to rare animals, a very expensive commodity, and also a hard currency that can be traded. God knows how many demons want to get their hands on them. After all, in ancient times, countless demons had fought with humans, and there were countless deaths and injuries, forming an irreconcilable hatred. Until now, there are still a large number of demon saints who hate humans, hate this race that drove them back to the abyss. Therefore, if they use humans as commodities to provide to those tyrannical demon saints, they will definitely be protected, and even get a lot of cultivation resources. The problem is that these humans have the power of the sacred artifact Tianji list to protect them, making them unable to do anything. Even if some humans were accidentally killed by the fiendish demons, the number was extremely small, and there was not enough to go around. Therefore, after hundreds of years of planning, they finally succeeded in setting up the demon yin-yang reversal array. This array has the power to temporarily deceive the Tianji list, isolating the protection of the Tianji list to those humans. Without the power to teleport away at any time, those humans are simply fish on the chopping board at their mercy. However, in order to maintain the demon yin-yang reversal array at all times, great fiendish demons like us have to preside over the array. We cannot be mobilized or it will definitely cause the array to collapse. A great fiendish demon said, even fiendish demons above the golden core realm cannot be mobilized. If not, the battle fluctuations of golden core fiendish demons will immediately be detected by the Tianji list. When that happens, only fiendish demons below the true fire realm can be mobilized. The demon yin-yang inversion formation was only able to conceal the heaven's secrets and isolate the perception of the heaven's secrets list. However, if there were any battle fluctuations that surpassed the concealment power of the demon yin-yang inversion formation, it would be useless. The Heaven's Secrets list would instantly sense it. It doesn't matter. That's right. Those humans are just too few in number. We have billions of fiendish demons here. We can crush them to death just by piling them up. They are just weak humans. Even fiendish demons of the same level can easily vanquish them. The great fiendish demons thought nothing of it. They believed that killing the humans would be a piece of cake. Alright, in that case, immediately activate the array to conceal the Tianji list, said a fiendish demon immediately. Boom. The moment he said that, the great fiendish demons instantly took action, conjuring the power of abyss within them. Instantly, a profound and mysterious dark array was activated. A silent wave blanketed the entire fiendish demon continent, isolating it from the outside world. Chapter 1406. On a Scarlet Plain. A group of Guiyuan sect disciples were walking carefully on this scarlet plain. Along the way they purposely picked off lone demons to kill. Due to their cautiousness, their battle results were considered glorious. Many demons died at their hands. Haha, this is a good harvest. It is indeed not bad. I killed 10 demons of the transcendent level. I killed 20 of them and obtained 20 monster cores. Our luck is really good. Although we can't get first place, obtaining these demon cores makes this trip worthwhile. That's right. If we were in the outside world, who knows how much effort it would take to obtain so many demon cores. The group of Guiyuan sect disciples was very satisfied. They knew that they could not compete for first place. Hence, their only thought now was to kill as many demons as possible and obtain demon cores. Rumble, just as they were chatting, a huge tremor suddenly came from the end of the scarlet plain in the distance. Thousands of demons ran over, charging towards them like a stampede of horses. These demons seemed to have sensed their presence long ago and were surrounding them. It's over. A large number of demons have surrounded us. What's going on? Why are there so many demons all of a sudden? Run. Run quickly. We can't defeat so many demons. If we don't run, we will die. It's useless. We can't escape at all. They have already surrounded us. Damn it. We are so unlucky. Many of the Guiyuan sect disciples were cursing and gritting their teeth. They had been very complacent and had planned to kill a few more demons. They did not expect to encounter a large group of demons so quickly. They could not even escape. There's no other way. We can only give up on this experiential training. Otherwise we will definitely die, a Guiyuan sect disciple said helplessly. One of the Guiyuan sect disciples said helplessly. Although they were unwilling, they would definitely die if they resisted stubbornly in such a situation. Although the experiential training was important, their lives were equally important. Wait, something is wrong. I can't sense the call of the heavenly secret list. What's going on? We can't go back. Someone wanted to leave the fiendish demon battlefield and called out to the heavenly secret list in his heart. However, he immediately discovered that it was useless. The heavenly secret list did not respond to his call. It was as if it was dead silent. Impossible. The heavenly secret list is a sacred artifact with boundless power. Why is there no response? What happened? What exactly happened? It's over. We're completely finished. This group of Guiyuan sect disciples was extremely desperate. They thought that they could immediately give up the trial and return to the human world when they encountered danger. They didn't expect this method to fail, and they were completely trapped in the demon continent. Bang bang bang. Before they could think further, the group of demons charged forward ferociously. In less than a breath's time, the group of Guiyuan sect disciples were all dead. None of them survived. And this situation also appeared all over the demon continent. Heaven and Earth sect, Five Elements sect, Guiyuan sect, Flying Immortal sect, Lingyun sect, and other sects' disciples encountered danger. They wanted to contact the Tianji board and give up on the trial. But they all found that this was no longer feasible, and they couldn't leave the demon continent at all. Even the stupidest person could tell that the rules of the trial were about to change. Something abnormal had happened, and panic quickly spread among the new disciples from the 5 great system-allocated sections. At the same time, the low-level demons of the entire demon continent, under the command of the great demons, began to madly surround the new disciples of the 5 major sects, like locusts. At this time, Xiaoping didn't know that a huge change had happened in this trial. He was staying in a cave, sitting cross-legged and cultivating in seclusion, planning to break through to the late stage of treasure refining realm in one go. Because breaking through to the late stage of treasure refining realm required a huge amount of energy, he killed tens of thousands of abyssal ox demons and obtained tens of thousands of demon cores, and then he killed tens of thousands of demons. Now he had a total of 40 to 50,000 demon cores on him. These demon cores contained abundant energy, not inferior to spirit herbs, spirit liquids and other natural treasures. While Xiaoping immediately took out all the demon cores on his body and floated in the air. He operated the pure yang immortal art, and every pore on his body spewed out a wisp of flame. In the void, a sun furnace suddenly appeared, and these demon cores quickly entered the sun furnace, and the terrifying flames refined these demon cores. In just a few breaths' time, these demon cores were immediately refined into the purest energy. Devour. Xiaoping opened his mouth wide and swallowed the energy into his body. When the energy surged into his body, every meridian and blood vessel in his body was surging with spiritual power, like a huge dragon galloping. And this spiritual power also surged into the Violet Kingdom space, unceasingly expanding, filling up the Violet Kingdom space. Dong. After an unknown period of time, when the spiritual power in the Violet Kingdom space reached its peak, it was like water flowing naturally, and a spatial barrier was immediately shattered. Late-stage treasure refining realm. Xiaoping's eyes shot out a shocking light. He could feel the spiritual power in the Violet Kingdom space surging violently. The spatial barrier was shattered, and the Violet Kingdom space expanded by a full fold. His spiritual power was increasing at a geometrical speed. Not only that, every martial path mystic art on his body, every heaven and earth array because of the increase in spiritual power became stronger. Almost every array imprint condensed into a corporeal form, engraved in the depths of every blood vessel in his body. His bones, his spine, his meridians, his blood vessels, and his skin were all covered with densely packed ancient runes, causing his body to become even more majestic. He was like a mountain and his aura was like an abyss. Even the strength of his spiritual sense was crazily increasing. Suddenly, Xiaoping found that when his spiritual energy had reached its peak, all of his spiritual energy actually began to condense, just like a black hole collapsing, compressing into a singularity, as if it was about to ignite, causing flames to appear. Suddenly, it was as if his soul had been greatly elevated, as if he could see the power in the depths of time and space. Fire of the Spirit. Xiaoping immediately knew what this little flame represented. Without a doubt, only after reaching the true fire realm could one understand the fire of the spirit, or rather, the fire of the soul. Only after understanding the fire of the spirit could one use the fire of the spirit to burn martial path mystic arts, and these mystic arts, arrays and talismans, and finally condense into a golden elixir. Giving birth to the fire of the spirit was the only way to condense a golden elixir. Moreover, the fire of the spirit could also have all sorts of incredible powers. It could burn one's own spiritual power, unleashing 10 or 20 times the usual attack power, and any ordinary person would be instantly killed. Chapter 1407. Spiritual Fire. In an instant, Xiaoping's aura underwent an earth-shattering change. His eyes contained a terrifying soul energy that seemed to pierce through the void. Deep in his soul, a flame seemed to be born. It ignited his soul, spiritual power, and will, unleashing unbelievable power. He knew he had nothing to worry about in the true fire realm. Though it was only a sliver of spiritual fire, a single spark could start a prairie fire. When his consciousness completely burned and turned into spiritual fire, that would be when he truly stepped into the true fire realm. But this was just the beginning. Xiaoping sat cross-legged on the ground. His body seemed to have turned into a whirlpool. After reaching the late stage of the treasure refinement realm, his devouring power was even more terrifying. In the world, endless abyss demon energy swarmed over. The wind and clouds within hundreds of miles were stirred, transforming into black dragons that burrowed into his body. A golden crow of hell howled excitedly in his body, devouring like a whale that hadn't eaten in a long time. The vast abyss demon energy was swallowed into its stomach. If anyone were to see Xiaoping's current cultivation situation, they would definitely be horrified. This was because Xiaoping's body was surrounded by solidified demonic qi, which was almost as black as ink. This was simply a peerless demon cultivating. But he sat in the center of the abyss demon energy. Faint golden light shone from his body, making him look sacred and ancient. He was like an ancient god suppressing the endless abyss demon energy. With the abyss demon energy, the golden crow of hell cells in his body started to awaken explosively. 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, his bloodline power increased exponentially. In the end, the number of golden crow of hell cells in his body increased to 600,000. This was a shocking number. Each golden crow of hell cell contained terrifying power. There were 600,000 of them, like 600,000 golden crows of hell, containing unimaginable ripples of power. At the same time, his blood changed drastically. Originally, his blood was like gold, noble and ancient. It contained a noble aura as if it was the ruler of everything. However, after devouring a large amount of abyssal devil chi, the blood had been dyed black, and it emitted dark, chaotic, violent and other auras. The gold and black interweaved with each other, making it seem even more mysterious and noble, as if it was a life form that had existed since ancient times. A powerful force was born within his body. At this moment, Xiaoping Zifu had undergone an earth-shattering change. Originally, this Zifu space was illuminated by the sun, and there was only the existence of daytime. However, after devouring the abyssal devil chi, there was the power of darkness, which could rival the power of light. Ever since then, the Zifu space also had night, and the full moon hung high in the sky. Xiaoping clearly felt that the space of his Zifu seemed to have become more stable and complete. It was as if there were 4 distinct seasons, the 6 paths of reincarnation, and the harmony of yin and yang. This was the essence of this world. There was light and there was darkness, there was death and there was life. Even his martial path divine abilities seemed to have been tainted with the power of the abyss demonic chi, gaining a trace of destructive, corrosive and murderous characteristics. Their might was even more terrifying, capable of destroying everything. And the commotion caused by Xiaoping's cultivation was too terrifying. It affected a radius of hundreds of miles, and a large amount of abyss demonic chi gathered. In the void, countless skyscraping demons were also attracted over. Heavenly flowers fell from the sky as if it was a catastrophe, and they all descended beside Xiaoping. Kiki, there's actually a human cultivating. What a terrifying cultivation power. Even a demon king is only SOSO. He's just a small human, but he can actually devour the abyss demonic chi. What exactly is his background? I can feel the flesh and blood in his body that is as hot as the sun. It's more than 1,000 times stronger than an ordinary human. If I can devour this human, I might be able to forge the foundation to become a demon saint. Eat him, we must eat this human. This is the foundation for us skyscraping demons to achieve the Tao. In the void, skyscraping demons appeared one after another. Their faces were ferocious, and they stared greedily at Xiaoping, who was sitting cross-legged and cultivating in the center of the abyss demonic chi. They did not hide their greed at all. Rumble, thousands of skyscraping demons surged over. They were just thoughts, invisible and colorless. They were monsters created by the mind, and they could permeate the void. Ordinary matrices could not stop them. Facing a superior prey like Xiaoping, these skyscraping demons could not hold back at all. They all burrowed into Xiaoping's soul, trying to devour his soul and completely occupy his body. Once they occupied a human's body, these skyscraping demons could have a physical body and become even stronger. This was something that could not be resisted. Suddenly, the illusions of countless skyscraping demons spread out, blinding Xiaoping's mind. If he could not resist the illusions of the skyscraping demons, many distracting thoughts would be born. Then he would fall into an endless abyss, and his soul would be devoured by the skyscraping demons. This was true death, and even his soul would not be left. Usually, just one skyscraping demon was very terrifying. But now, thousands of skyscraping demons were attacking. This was like a baptism of locusts destroying everything. Immediately, the illusions of these skyscraping demons enveloped Xiaoping's body. Many illusions of wealth, beauties, family, martial power, and so on appeared. All kinds of illusions that originated from humans appeared, as if they wanted Xiaoping to fall into endless illusions and sink completely. That way they could slowly enjoy such a feast of souls. Skyscraping demons? You are courting death. Xiaoping immediately sensed the abnormality in his body. The infernal golden crow bloodline in his body boiled. He opened his eyes, and there were whirlpools in the depths of his pupils. A strange power was born as if he was reincarnating. Boom! A terrifying flame immediately appeared in the depths of his soul. This was the soul fire of the infernal golden crow. It could burn everything, and all the illusions were burned into pieces. Ah! The The skyscraping demons were caught off guard and immediately let out shrill cries. It was as if they had encountered their greatest nemesis. The terrifying flames spread to their bodies, and immediately burned them into wisps of smoke. Not good, this human is troublesome. What kind of soul fire is this? How can it be so terrifying that it can harm skyscraping demons? Run quickly or we will be burned to death. The skyscraping demons were panic-stricken. They immediately knew that they had encountered a terrifying person, and that the opponent had a way to suppress skyscraping demons. These skyscraping demons immediately wanted to escape, but it was too late. Devour. Not only did Xiaoping have the power of the infernal golden crow's flames, but he had also devoured the power of the soul-devouring beast. He had the terrifying ability to devour souls. Although these skyscraping demons were invisible and colorless, and were just thoughts that could not be captured, they were essentially souls. It could be said that the power of the soul-devouring beast was the greatest nemesis of skyscraping demons. Rumble Xiaoping's soul instantly turned into a whirlpool, devouring everything. Thousands of skyscraping demons screamed in pain, but they could not escape at all. They were all devoured into the whirlpool, crushed and refined. Chapter 1408. A day later. Near Xiaoping's seclusion, LV Wenhou and the other Qingquan sect disciples were hunting fiendish demons. However, in order to prevent Xiaoping's seclusion from being disturbed by fiendish demons, they didn't go too far. At this moment they also discovered a huge problem with the Heavenly Secret List. Indeed, we can't contact the Heavenly Secret List, nor can we use the power of the Heavenly Secret List to leave the demon continent. A mysterious and powerful force has isolated our connection with the Heavenly Secret List. LV Wenhou's expression was solemn. Indeed, it's not only our Qingquan sect disciples. The disciples of the other four major sects have also encountered the same problem. Kuer nodded. On this day many disciples from other sects had fled over, so they also learned of similar news. If that's the case, then the matter is serious. That's right, if we can't contact the Heavenly Secret List, wouldn't we have to stay in the demon continent for the rest of our lives? Who did it? They actually deceived us from contacting the Heavenly Secret List? Is there a need to ask? It must be done by those great fiendish demons. This is a plot they have been brewing for a long time. One by one the Qingquan sect disciples gritted their teeth in panic. If they had to stay in the demon continent for the rest of their lives, they would probably be doomed. Don't worry. Kuer said solemnly, this power is probably only temporary. Over time, no matter how careless the sect elders are, they will discover something fishy. As long as they are alert, they can activate the sacred Heavenly Secret List to break the barrier of this power. He reassured his fellow disciples that they would never stay in the demon continent forever. The problem is, I'm afraid that those fiendish demons won't give us the time and opportunity. LV Wenhou said. What do you mean? Many Qingquan sect disciples looked at LV Wenhou nervously. Haven't you noticed? The number of fiendish demons has been increasing recently and they are getting more and more concentrated. LV Wenhou's eyes lit up. I reckon they plan to concentrate their forces and capture all the disciples of the 5 major sects in one fell swoop. What? Many Qingquan sect disciples' hearts sank. They knew that the number of fiendish demons on this continent was terrifying. Even if they couldn't control all the fiendish demons in a short period of time, they might not be able to control all the demons on the demon continent. After all, the demon continent was too vast. Even walking for a year might not be enough. Gathering all the fiendish demons was as difficult as ascending the heavens. But even so, even if only a small portion of these demons were gathered, there were still millions or even tens of millions of them. As for the disciples of the 5 great sects, there were at most 200,000 to 300,000 people. In the face of so many demons, their numbers were simply a drop in the bucket. When will senior brother Xia come out? Someone asked. Many Qingquan sect disciples were also concerned about this problem. In such a dangerous moment, if they had a peerless monster like Xiaoping by their side, they would most likely be much safer. Previously, Xiaoping had killed those demons as easily as cutting grass. With Xiaoping around, he was like a stabilizing force. There was no need to worry about the threat of the demons. I reckon he'll be out of seclusion soon. Kor said in a deep voice, I observed the cave abode where Brother Xia is in seclusion just now. That aura seems to have weakened quite a bit. I reckon that he has successfully broken through and is now just consolidating his cultivation. The power of senior brother Xia's breakthrough is really shocking. It spread out for hundreds of miles. It's hard to imagine that this is just a small breakthrough in the treasure refining realm. Isn't that right? Previously, that cave abode was filled with dark clouds and demonic chi was brewing. Countless demons gathered there. I originally thought that senior brother Xia would encounter danger, but I didn't expect that he would be wiped out in an instant. Not a single demon escaped. Senior brother Xia is simply too powerful. He was already so terrifying before. I wonder what level he will reach after advancing to the late-stage treasure refining realm. It's really admirable. Many Qinghuan sect disciples were so impressed that they prostrated themselves in admiration. Previously, when Xia Ping broke through, they saw the phenomenon clearly from the side. Especially when over 10,000 demons were attracted over, it was as if a calamity had descended. Their hearts stopped for a few seconds and they were at a loss of what to do. With so many demons attacking, an ordinary cultivator's soul would be instantly torn apart, leaving nothing behind. Not to mention 10,000 demons, even a single demon was a huge threat. Who would have thought that over 10,000 demons were wiped out by Xia Ping? This was simply too exaggerated. He is indeed a monster. LV Wenho was also speechless. He also thought that he had exceptional talent and was ferocious beyond compare. It was rare for anyone to be his match. However, he didn't expect to meet a monster like Xia Ping. It could only be said that the universe was vast, and there would always be someone better than you. Damn it, a large number of demons are attacking. There are at least 100,000 of them. Ku Air's expression changed. His divine senses sensed a vast amount of demonic chi coming from not far away. It covered the sky and covered a radius of 1,000 miles. The ground trembled as if there was a magnitude 7 or 8 earthquake. It seemed like these demons had been mobilized for a day and a night, and there was already an army of 100,000 charging over. Damn it, there are 3 true Fire Realm demons? Li Hu's expression changed drastically. He could clearly sense that the aura of the 3 demons far surpassed that of ordinary demons. They had actually reached the true Fire Realm. True Fire Realm demons? Even LV Wenho's expression changed drastically. Although he had exceptional talent and could challenge those of a higher level, it was impossible for him to surpass an entire realm to defeat an enemy. Not to mention that the other party was a demon whose strength far surpassed that of a true Fire Realm human cultivator of the same level. Furthermore, the other party had a total of 3 true Fire Realm demons. With an army of 100,000 demons, there was no way they could defend against this army. Disregarding everything else, just the 3 true Fire Realm demons alone were enough to kill more than half of them. There was no need for the other demons to do anything. All of a sudden, many Qinghuan sect disciples felt their hearts tighten. They were facing death. Moreover, they were surrounded by the army of demons from all directions. There was nowhere to run. Haha, humans. There are indeed many humans here. It's really effortless to search everywhere in the world. As long as we can complete the Grand Demon's mission, we will definitely be rewarded handsomely. Seeing LV Wenho and the rest, the 3 true Fire Realm demons burst into laughter. Their bodies emitted a terrifying abyss aura that solidified and shook the heavens and earth. They were the 6-armed lion demon, the 3-eyed bear demon, and the giant snake demon. They were all famous demons in the demon continent and were extremely powerful. Humans. The 6-armed lion demon bellowed, "Surrender immediately and we will spare your lives. Any hesitation and you will be killed. If we capture you alive, you won't even be able to die. This valley has long been surrounded by our army of demons. You have nowhere to run." I wanted to capture this group of humans alive. Although dead humans were considered as hard currency, living humans were obviously more valuable. Many demons enjoyed torturing humans and were unwilling to let these humans die so easily. Chapter 1409. Hearing this, the Qinghuan sect disciples felt an extremely oppressive aura. It was as if a huge mountain was crushing down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. The threat of an army of 100,000 demons and 3 true Fire Realm demons was too terrifying. It was as if these demons could kill them more than 10 times over if they charged forward. However, it was impossible for them to surrender. They knew the personalities of these demons. They were vicious and cruel. Even if they were captured by these demons, it would be a fate worse than death. Since that was the case, they might as well fight with these demons. At least they could drag a few of them down with them. Boom. Just then, a huge mountain suddenly exploded. The mountain rocks split into pieces, causing a huge tremor. A crack that stretched for dozens of kilometers appeared on the ground, forming a deep abyss. A terrifying aura swept across thousands of kilometers like a storm. It pressed down on the land and all living things within the range of the aura trembled as if they had encountered a terrifying creature. Senior Brother Xia is out. Feeling the aura, the Qinghuan sect disciples were not afraid. Instead they were overjoyed. There was only one person who could release such an aura, and that was Xia Ping. Swoosh. Immediately, a figure appeared in mid-air. A ball of flames appeared on his body. He was like a rising sun, emitting a scorching aura that caused the surrounding air to burn. This person was obviously Xia Ping. After a day of cultivation, he had finally stabilized his cultivation and entered the advanced stage of the treasure refining realm. His strength had more than doubled. Another human? This human is not simple. His qi and blood are more than 1,000 times that of an ordinary human. I can feel that if I can devour this human, I will definitely advance to the Grand Demon realm. Immediately, all the demons could feel the terrifying qi and blood on Xia Ping's body. It was like a burning sun. In this dark abyss he was like a firefly in the darkness, dazzling. All of them were tempted. Such a rich body was like Tripitaka's meat. Just eating a piece of him would allow them to evolve greatly. Human, get over here and submit to me or die. The six-armed lion demon also noticed Xia Ping's existence. Its eyes lit up and revealed a greedy expression. It was extremely eager to kill Xia Ping and devour his flesh and blood. A demon in the early stages of the true fire realm? Looks like the monster core in your body contains quite a bit of energy. Killing you should be quite beneficial. Very good, I'll start with you. As soon as he finished speaking, Xia Ping suddenly attacked. His figure flashed, instantly traversing several kilometers. He immediately teleported in front of the six-armed lion demon and punched out. The aura of this punch was extremely terrifying, shaking the heavens and the earth and collapsing the sky. The power of 600,000 infernal golden crow cells was added to his body, and it was practically the power of a divine beast. The fist clearly hadn't landed yet, but the fist's wind had already arrived, pressing down on the six-armed devil lion's body. All of its bones crackled under the pressure, and it felt as if it was about to be flattened into a meat patty. Many of the fiendish demons were shocked. They did not expect this human to be so daring. Facing an army of 100,000 fiendish demons and 3 true fire realm fiendish demons, he still dared to attack. Not good. The six-armed devil lion demon's expression changed drastically. He could feel the terror of this punch. It was as heavy as Mount Tai, and the fists will shook the heavens. It contained the power of destruction and the power of a vortex. It was like a punch from an ancient divine beast that could destroy everything. Just the wind from the fist alone felt like it could flatten it into a meat patty. The pure power was so strong that it made one's hair stand on end. It roared, six-armed lion demon fist. In the blink of an eye, it performed the demon's mystique. Its 6 fists clenched tightly, and terrifying demonic power circulated in them. Black light pierced through the air inch by inch. Immediately, the shadow of the six-armed devil lion demon appeared on its body. It had the aura of an ancient demon. It sat on a throne, suppressing the will of the abyss. At the same time, the spiritual fire on its body began to burn, and the demonic power in its body boiled. Its strength suddenly increased tenfold, and its qi and blood tumbled like lava. Bang bang bang. In the air, 6 solid fists appeared immediately. They shone brightly and there were no clouds in the sky. They formed a vortex that shook the heavens and earth, and the Lion King roared in all directions. This kind of power was enough to flatten everything within a 1,000-mile radius and collapse mountains. The six-armed devil lion demon is going all out. LV1 Ho and the others were dumbfounded. Of course, they could see the terror of the six-armed devil lion demon's fist. This was a powerhouse at the true fire realm. By burning the spiritual fire and the mana in its body, the power of the martial mystique would increase tenfold. However, this power was a desperate attack. It would not be used unless it was a matter of life and death. After all, burning one's mana would shorten one's lifespan. Even if the demon's life force was strong, it could not take more than a few burns. However, a mere punch had forced the six-armed devil lion demon to this point, and it was burning its demonic power. One could imagine how much pressure Xia Ping was putting on the six-armed devil lion demon. But it was useless. Xia Ping's fist was too fierce. Having awakened 600,000 golden crow hell cells, his every move contained the power to carry a mountain. He could blow a small mountain away with just a breath. Now that he was punching with all his strength, it was like the energy of 600,000 small suns exploded in an instant. A ball of scorching light exploded, illuminating the world and shattering the void. Rumble, in an instant, the martial mystique that the six-armed devil lion demon had used was smashed into dust. The six fists were smashed into dust, and the throne in the void was shattered inch by inch. No! The six-armed devil lion demon screamed, and its eyes were filled with despair. It wanted to devour the human's flesh and blood, and become a real demon, or even a demon sage and rule the demon continent. It had endless ambitions to achieve, and it wanted to become the lord of the demons. But this punch not only shattered its martial arts mystique, but even its future and ambitions were shattered. Dong! The fist landed on the six-armed devil lion demon's body, and the terrifying fist force seeped in like a nuclear bomb. It exploded instantly and its body was blown into pieces. The six-armed devil lion demon was dead. Oh my god, that six-armed devil lion demon was killed by senior brother Xia with one punch. It's not just dead, it was smashed into pieces. Is senior brother Xia really still at the treasure refinement realm? Don't tell me he's already at the true fire realm? The power of this punch feels like an ancient punch that can shake the world. 10,000 miles around is trembling. The fist intent is so strong that even my soul is trembling. This is too terrifying. The group of heaven and earth sect disciples were completely stunned. That was the six-armed devil lion demon, a demon at the true fire realm. Its martial realm was a level higher than Xia Ping's. If such a demon appeared in the human world, it would be a terrifying existence that could slaughter an entire planet. But now it was actually killed by a punch from Xia Ping. Its body was torn into pieces and it couldn't even escape. Chapter 14:10. That's too brutal. That human is only at the treasure refining realm. How did he kill our leader with one punch? The power of that punch is too terrifying. I suspect there's a god living in his body. Yeah, there's no other way to explain it. The 100,000 demons were all shocked and frightened. After all, the six-armed lion demon was one of the leaders of the 100,000 demons. It was extremely powerful and could subdue many demons. But now it was killed by a human with one punch. Its body was torn into pieces. It was a complete mess. Even though these demons were extremely savage, they were also frightened by Xia Ping's actions. Beast. Seeing this, the three-eyed bear demon roared, "How dare you kill my comrade, the six-armed lion demon? You're courting death. Today all of you must die. All of you must die with the six-armed lion demon." Its three eyes glowed as though they could see through the void. A mountain-shaking aura emerged from its huge body. It instantly pounced towards Xia Ping at an extremely fast speed, and a terrifying bear paw slapped down at Xia Ping. This paw was extremely terrifying. It was like the paw of an ancient giant bear and contained boundless power. Vaguely, an ancient and desolate voice rang out from the depths of the void. The surrounding air was quickly pushed away, forming a vacuum. The force even seeped into the ground. Immediately, a bear paw with a diameter of dozens of kilometers appeared, crushing the ground for hundreds of meters. Countless things were shattered into pieces. Dong. Xia Ping reached out and caught the bear paw with one palm. Like a heavenly king holding a pagoda, he lifted the sky. An ancient, mysterious matrix appeared in his palm. The bear's paw immediately transmitted a terrifying force into his body. It was as if it wanted to completely destroy every single cell in his body and extinguish all vitality in his body. But when this powerful palm force seeped into Xia Ping's body, the golden crow of hell's meridian in his body immediately boiled, devouring this power completely. He was unharmed. Impossible. The three-eyed bear demon's three eyes widened. As a three-eyed bear demon, its martial arts realm had reached the mid-stage of the true fire realm. Its strength was among the top of the demons. Even ordinary fiendish demons would be smashed into powder by its palm, let alone a weak human. It was impossible for that human to withstand its palm. The problem was that this human was completely unscathed after taking its attack head-on. It was simply dumbfounded. Martial arts divine ability, Yang God Fist. At this instant, Xia Ping blocked the palm strike of the three-eyed bear devil. His left fist punched out, bringing with it a boundless killing intent as the power of his bloodline surged out from the depths of his body. His fist immediately turned into a flaming fist. It was a fist condensed from mystical fire. An ancient matrix appeared in the void, drawing upon the power of fire in the world. The totem of a golden crow of hell appeared behind him, causing the air to tremble. Dodge. The three-eyed demonic bear was horrified. The three eyes on its body flickered crazily, and a strange power emerged in the depths of its pupils, trying to analyze the mysteries of Xiaoping's punch and try to block it. But it was too late. Before the three-eyed devil bear could figure out what was going on, the punch landed on its body. Dong. Immediately, its huge body was pierced through by the flaming fist and blood splattered everywhere. If that was all there was to it, it would have been fine. 4 fiendish demons with tenacious vitality, a hole in the chest was not a fatal injury. They could recover at any time. The problem was that this was the Yang God Fist, and it contained the power of mystical fire. Immediately, the terrifying flames exploded in the three-eyed devil bear's body, burning it to ashes in an instant. The three-eyed devil bear fell on the spot, killed by another punch. Damn it. Seeing this, the giant snake demon was so scared that it almost peed its pants. Both the three-eyed devil bear and the 6-armed lion demon, who were both commanders, had been killed by a single punch from this human without any ability to resist. Even though it had absolute confidence in itself, it did not dare to stay where it was, afraid that it would be killed by another punch from this human. That way it would be too far away from death. Dragon snake cruising steps. In an instant, the giant snake demon used its mystique steps. Its huge body was like a dragon snake as it slipped into the void, becoming invisible. It continued to wriggle, quickly escaping the battlefield. In just a breath's time, it had disappeared for 5 kilometers. To be honest, the giant snake demon no longer wanted to kill these humans. No matter how rich the rewards of the great fiendish demons were, it could not compare to its own life. If it died, those great fiendish demons would not shed a single tear. You can't escape. Xiaoping gave chase. A pair of golden crow wings of hell appeared on his back. As the wings flapped, each scarlet feather seemed to be condensed from ancient runes. Instantly he slipped into the void like a kunpeng. Awakening 600,000 infernal golden crow cells had also strengthened the infernal golden crow wings on his body. In just an instant he had caught up to the giant snake demon, traversing 5 kilometers. How can he be so fast? The giant snake demon's face turned green. It believed that its speed of escaping was the fastest among all the fiendish demons, but it did not expect the kid to be faster than it was. That pair of wings was like the wings of a divine bird. It could control the airflow and blend into the void. It was not something its speed could compare with. With such power and speed, it was too much of a cheat. Yin-Yang tablet smashing palm. Xiaoping did not even intend to speak to the other party. He slammed his palm down from the air, like an eagle catching a chick. It landed on the head of the giant snake demon in an instant. Dong. The giant snake demon did not even have time to scream. Its entire head was smashed into pieces, and even its huge body was shaken into a pile of meat paste. It was completely destroyed. Even the palm force seeped into the ground, and instantly, a huge palm print with a diameter of tens of kilometers appeared. The 5 fingers were clear and contained the power of yin and yang. It was as if the palm print had existed since ancient times, and it emitted a strong will. Too strong. LV1Ho and the rest did not know what to say. At that moment, Xiaoping was like an ancient savage. In a few breaths' time, 3 true Fire Realm fiendish demons were killed on the spot. It was a brutal mess. They did not know who the real fiendish demon was now. Run quickly. This is a peerless savage of the human race. We can't fight him head-on. Even the commander was beaten to death. We will die if we stay here. 100,000 fiendish demons were panicking. They were completely shocked by Xiaoping's ferocious actions. They were so scared that they fled in disarray. Turn into ashes. Xiaoping activated the pure yang immortal technique. With his body as the center, a strong wave spread out. A huge fire cloud appeared in the sky, gathering endless flames. Rumble, fireballs fell from the sky like raindrops, smashing hard on the fiendish demons, turning the area within 1,000 miles into a boundless sea of fire. At that moment, the fiendish demons were burned to ashes, screaming in pain. Chapter 1411. An hour later, the army of 100,000 fiendish demons was completely annihilated. Xiaoping also obtained 50 to 60,000 monster cores and 3 monster cores at the True Fire Realm. The remaining 40,000 monster cores were divided among LV1Ho and the rest. After all, they had a share of the fiendish demons and Xiaoping couldn't take it all for himself. You're saying that there's a problem with the heavenly secret list and a mysterious array power is blocking our connection with it? Very soon, Xiaoping learned of the news from LV1Ho and the rest. He could not help but frown. That's right. Kuer nodded. This must be the conspiracy of those great fiendish demons. Their goal is to kill us humans. The only thing we can do now is to destroy that mysterious array. Only then can we escape. That's easy for you to say, Li Hu said snappily. How powerful are the fiendish demons that can set up such an array to block the heavenly secret list detection? We're just courting death if we try to destroy such an array. Even an idiot would know that there were powerful fiendish demons around the array. If new disciples like them dared to go over, they would be smacked to death with a single slap. This wasn't destroying the array but sending themselves to their deaths. Indeed, fiendish demons that can set up an array that can block the power of a sacred artifact are definitely not simple. They have to be at least above the Dharma characteristic realm. However, since such a terrifying fiendish demon has set up an array to deal with us, why don't those great fiendish demons take action personally? If they do, we'll be killed instantly. Actually, I've done some research on such arrays. An array that can block the heavenly secret must be extremely sensitive and fragile. If the energy fluctuations are too great, it will definitely disrupt the power of the array, allowing the heavenly secret list to sense it. Therefore, those fiendish demons don't dare to send overly powerful fiendish demons to deal with us. Furthermore, those great fiendish demons have to give it their all in order to maintain such an array. They have to maintain the circulation of their demonic powers at all times. Otherwise, such an array will definitely collapse instantly. The Jianghu sect disciples conversed. They were all geniuses and had an extremely high level of knowledge in various aspects. Soon they deduced the conspiracy and truth behind it. However, the more they understood the truth behind it, the more they felt the seriousness of the situation. They reckoned that this conspiracy did not happen overnight. It must have been accumulated over many years, and now it was suddenly activated to kill them. Since there's no way to destroy the formation, there's only one way to survive, and that's to drag it out. Kor said, let's drag this out until the situation changes. Let's drag this out until the elders know that there's a problem with the Heavenly Mysteries list. Let them investigate this on their own. Perhaps then we'll be able to leave this place alive. It's useless. We can't drag it out. LV1Ho shook his head. Since those demons dared to do this, they must be fully prepared. They will definitely kill all of us within 3 days before the matter is exposed. If it's only 3 days, the elders won't be able to find out so quickly. We'll have to hold on for at least a week before there's a chance to turn things around. But can we hold on for a week? Just now, there were already 100,000 fiendish demons. How many will there be next time? 1 million? 10 million? This is the demon continent. There are not many things, but there are many demons. He stated the seriousness of the situation. The demons would hunt them down one after another. Many Jianghu sect disciples felt a suffocating pressure. Killing 100,000 fiendish demons wasn't a big deal, but they probably wouldn't be able to kill them all even if they were tired. Faced with the overwhelming number of fiendish demons, all of them shuddered in fear. Beep beep. At this moment, everyone's communication device rang at the same time. It was extremely ear-piercing. What's that sound? Xiaoping frowned. Kor immediately said, someone is issuing an emergency signal for help. Who is it? Xiaoping asked. Kor said, it's not our Jianghu sect disciples. It seems to be people from Lingyun sect. They're nearby. Contact them. Xiaoping said. With a beep, Kor nodded and immediately turned on his communication device. Immediately, a virtual projection descended and a figure appeared in front of everyone. Behind this figure, there was a dense crowd and everyone seemed to be panicking. Thank the heavens, someone finally received my signal for help. That Lingyun sect disciple shed tears of gratitude. Brothers from Jianghu sect, I hope you can help us. Right now, our Lingyun sect disciples are being attacked by 100,000 fiendish demons and are in danger. I believe you all know that this isn't the time for a trial, but a time of life and death. If we don't unite, we'll be wiped out by that group of fiendish demons. This is a war between humans and fiendish demons. He immediately asked for help from Xiaoping and the others. Obviously, their situation was extremely critical. Before Kor and the others could speak, Xiaoping said, don't think about it. If you don't save them, just wait for death. Damn. Hearing this, the group of Lingyun sect disciples wanted to curse. These 3 sentences were like a heavy hammer that struck their hearts, making them feel despair and waiting for death. Their eyes were very sharp. Obviously, they discovered that the person who spoke was Xiaoping. Seeing this scourge from Jianghu sect, their faces turned green. Of all people, why were they so unlucky to meet Xiaoping, this bastard, asking him for help? Xiaoping, don't go overboard. A Lingyun sect disciple scolded. Although we don't belong to the same sect, we're still humans. How can you not save them? Do you have a conscience? Were they eaten by dogs? Just 100,000 fiendish demons is nothing. Your Lingyun sect has many experts and each of them can fight against 1,000. I believe you can escape. Why would you need our help? Stop joking, Xia Ping said lazily. Hearing these strange words, many Lingyun sect disciples were furious. They wanted to beat this bastard Xia Ping with a stick. How could they not hear Xia Ping's sarcasm? If they were really so powerful, they wouldn't ask for help. Unless it was a matter of life and death, they wouldn't throw away their pride as disciples of large sects and shamelessly ask for help. Xia Ping, we have offended you in the past. It was indeed our fault. I hope that you can forgive us and save our lives. At this moment, a weak voice sounded. The person who spoke was Meng Yunxiao from Lingyun sect. He was seriously injured and his body was covered in blood. Even speaking seemed to take a lot of energy. Obviously, he had been seriously injured during the battle with the fiendish demons. Senior Brother Meng. The group of Lingyun sect disciples were incomparably indignant. They were from Lingyun sect, a saint-tier sect. They weren't inferior to Qingkuan sect. All of them were geniuses. Chapter 14:12. Magnanimous people forgive us? I don't remember any of you doing anything wrong. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and said lazily, also, weren't you all very arrogant before? You wouldn't ask for my help even if you died? Now you want to ask for help? Have you no backbone at all? Xiao Qin still remembered how arrogant this group of people had been before he entered the fiendish demon battlefield. Even if he beat them to death, they would not cooperate with him, acting like they would never have anything to do with him. Now they were shamelessly asking for his help. Were they dreaming? Xia Ping, fuck you. You can kill me, but you can't humiliate me. That's right. This guy's mouth is too vicious. I can't live with him. We can't ask this bastard for help even if we die. He dares to humiliate our Soaring Cloud sect like this. I can't stand this bitch for even a second. The Soaring Cloud sect disciples were so angry that their lungs almost exploded. Their hatred for Xia Ping surpassed that of the fiendish demons. They gritted their teeth and wanted to beat Xia Ping up. Enough. Meng Yunxiao shouted, the dignity of the sect is not something that can be shown in such a matter. Only when people are alive will they have value. If they die, then they have nothing. You are disciples of the Lingyun sect. Your future is limitless. Don't just say that you will die. Don't forget that you still have many ambitions that you haven't realized. Are you willing to die at the hands of the fiendish demons? Are you willing to die like this in this place? He scolded the Soaring Cloud sect disciples. Hearing this, the Soaring Cloud sect disciples clenched their fists. It was just as Meng Yunxiao said. They still had many ambitions that they had not realized. No one wanted to die at the hands of the fiendish demons. There was no value in dying like this. Brother Xia. Meng Yunxiao turned to look at Xia Ping and said sincerely, I have offended you before, but I hope that you can let go of your prejudice and save the lives of the Soaring Cloud sect disciples. From now on, our grudges are over. I swear that I will never seek revenge in this life. If I go back on my word, may I be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. At the side, Kuer also said, Brother Xia, perhaps it's better to save the Soaring Cloud sect disciples. We need to deal with a large number of fiendish demons next. The more power we have, the better chance of survival. He gave his suggestion. Xia Ping touched his chin and said, since that's the case, it's not impossible to save you, but I have a condition. What are your conditions? Just tell me. Meng Yunxiao was overjoyed and said immediately, 10,000-year-old spirit herbs. That's the condition. Xia Ping said calmly, looking at Meng Yunxiao. 10,000-year-old herbs? Are you crazy? Why don't you just go and rob someone? A group of Lingyun sect disciples cursed. Did this bastard know what a 10,000-year-old elixir was? It was an elixir that could not be bought even if one had money. Moreover, the older the spirit herb, the more astonishing its value. A single stock was enough to bankrupt many people. 10 stocks of 10,000-year-old spirit herbs could bankrupt many people. This was clearly looting a burning house. Kuer and the others were also dumbfounded. They hadn't expected Xia Ping to be so bold as to take advantage of the situation. They were talking about 10,000-year-old spirit herbs, not 10 carats. Forget it if you don't want to. Just wait for death. Xia Ping couldn't be bothered to waste his breath and immediately instructed Kuer to turn off the communicator. What? The faces of the disciples of the Lingyun sect turned green. What was wrong with this guy? He was too straightforward. Wasn't this a condition? Wasn't it negotiable? How could it collapse before the discussion even started? Wait, I agree. Seeing that Xia Ping was really planning to turn off the communicator, Meng Yunxiao panicked. He finally found a helper and couldn't let him slip away. Senior brother Meng. Many Lingyun sect disciples looked at Meng Yunxiao with reluctance. They really weren't willing to be extorted by this shameless bastard. Meng Yunxiao shook his head and said, "Don't worry. Just 10 stalks of 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs can save the lives of so many Lingyun sect disciples. This is already a good deal." He consoled the Heaven and Earth sect disciples. "It seems like Brother Meng knows his stuff and knows that this is a good deal. You are a smart person." Xia Ping praised. The group of Lingyun sect disciples gritted their teeth. Senior brother Meng was just being humble, but this bastard actually took it seriously. His skin was too thick. Even a laser gun couldn't penetrate it. But they were under someone else's roof, so they had to lower their heads. They were forced to accept Xia Ping's extortion. "I don't know when Brother Xia will come to our rescue. We can't hold on for much longer. If those demons discover the cave we are hiding in, we are dead for sure," Meng Yunxiao said anxiously. Xia Ping waved his hand. "Don't be anxious. Sign a contract first. Nowadays contracts are more trustworthy. After all, there is no proof and there are too many people who go back on their words." He sent a contract document to Meng Yunxiao to sign. Hearing this, the Lingyun sect disciples felt aggrieved. They were obviously afraid that they would go back on their words. He was worried that they were despicable people who went back on their words and looked down on them. Although they did have similar thoughts and maybe they could go back on their words after this matter was over, it was impossible to go back on their words after signing the contract. All right. Meng Yunxiao felt aggrieved too, but he could only pinch his nose and accept it. He could only sign the contract. Very good. Where are you? Xia Ping was very satisfied when he saw the contract document. Meng Yunxiao and the others immediately sent their location to Xia Ping. Since they had already signed the contract, there was no turning back. Of course, they hoped that Xia Ping would come to their rescue as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they were discovered by the demons, there would be nothing left of them. "Don't worry, we have signed the contract. I will do my job properly." Xia Ping patted his chest to show that he was very reliable. With a snap, he hung up the communication device. At this time, in a cave, where the Lingyun sect disciples were temporarily hiding. Damn it, that Xia Ping is too much. How can he be a disciple of a saint-class sect? He is clearly a bandit, a robber. He is taking advantage of the situation. A Lingyun sect disciple cursed. That's right. He is so shameless. He has lost all face as a disciple of a sage. Have you never seen a 10,000-year-old spiritual herb in your life? How dare he extort 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs from us? He is too shameless. I have never seen such a person. The Lingyun sect disciples gritted their teeth. Forget it. Meng Yunxiao waved his hand. If we want him to risk his life to save us, how can we not give him some benefits? Luckily it is that Xia Ping. If it was an ordinary Jianghu sect disciple, he wouldn't have come to save us even if we gave him spiritual herbs. Hearing this, the Lingyun sect disciples had to admit that only a demon-like genius like Xia Ping would have the ability and confidence to come to their rescue from the encirclement of 100,000 demons. If it was an ordinary disciple, he would have fled in fear. He wouldn't have come even if he had money. In fact, when they sent a distress signal to the other sects, only Jianghu sect replied. The other sects couldn't even take care of themselves. Quick, listen. There is movement outside. Someone suddenly said. What? Xia Ping came so quickly? Isn't that too fast? Chapter 14-13. Let's go out and take a look. Meng Yunxiao immediately suggested. There was no point in hiding in the cave. Once they were discovered by the demons, they would be dead. They might as well kill their way out while the reinforcements arrived. That way they might have a chance of survival. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The Lingyun sect disciples looked at each other. They immediately went out of the cave and looked outside. They saw a familiar figure in midair. Even if he turned to ashes, they would recognize him. Without a doubt, it was the bitch from Jianghu sect, Xia Ping. On the other side was an army of 100,000 demons. They covered the entire mountain, and there were even 5 true Fire Realm demons. Such power terrified the Jianghu sect disciples. But Xia Ping was facing 100,000 demons alone. The rest were nowhere to be seen. What's going on? Why is Xiaoping alone? What is he doing here alone? Is he here to die? The group was dumbfounded. They could not understand what was happening. This kid had appeared in front of 100,000 demons alone. What was the difference between a rabbit appearing in front of a pride of lions? He was simply courting death. I don't think this kid is courting death. He is very cunning. Why would he risk his life to appear here? I'm afraid this is all part of his plan, Meng Yunxiao said in a low voice. There must be a reason for this. He felt that Xiaoping was not an idiot who overestimated himself. He must have something to rely on. Human, you really have guts. How dare you appear in front of us alone? Are you thinking of joining us and becoming our slave? A true Fire Realm demon looked at Xiaoping mockingly. Xiaoping was stunned for a moment, but he did not say anything. When Xiaoping appeared, the demons were indeed shocked. They thought that a strong enemy had appeared and were very cautious. But when they saw that Xiaoping was alone, they immediately relaxed. No matter how strong this human was, he would definitely die against 100,000 demons. Join us. Xiaoping clasped his hands behind his back and said, You've misunderstood something. I'm only here to save people. I had quite a few companions with me, but they're too slow. That's why I came alone to deal with you demons. He looked plainly at the crowd of demons. Haha, this human is crazy. You can't even protect yourself and you still want to save people? Is there something wrong with your head? You still want to get rid of all of us fiendish demons? What do you take us fiendish demons as? That's how arrogant of you to think that you can destroy them with a single breath. I think this human has lost his mind. Occasionally, when humans are forced into a desperate situation, a few lunatics will appear. Human, do you see that? We have 100,000 fiendish demons. A single spit from each of us can drown you to death. You still dare to boast shamelessly? Hurry up and submit to us. Become dogs. Hearing these words, all the fiendish demons burst into laughter. This was the first time they had seen such a human. He was alone, and yet he dared to say that he could deal with them. If this wasn't madness, what else could it be? Meng Yunxiao and the others were also dumbfounded. They had witnessed Xiaoping's arrogance from the start. After all, no disciple would dare to say that he wanted to be the boss in front of the new disciples of the 5 great sections. How arrogant must he be to say such words in front of so many people? Putting aside the previous incident, he still dared to act so arrogantly in front of 100,000 fiendish demons. He even said that he would take care of all the fiendish demons by himself. Wasn't he a little too confident? I will only say one thing, surrender or die. Xiaoping looked at the many fiend demons calmly, unmoved. Despicable human. You're too arrogant. You want us fiendish demons to surrender? Who do you think you are? The ignorant are fearless. Seems like this human doesn't know how terrifying we fiendish demons are. Capture him and torture him day and night. Let him suffer a fate worse than death. Then he will know how powerful we fiendish demons are. Go kill him. Instantly, the 100,000 fiendish demons were furious. A mere human dared to be so arrogant. Did he not treat them as fiendish demons? Since when were fiendish demons not feared by humans? Was it because they had not appeared in the human world for too long that these humans had forgotten how terrifying they were in the past? Go to hell. In an instant, 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons appeared. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. They did not care if this human was really crazy or not. Anyone who dared to offend the fiendish demons had to die. They had to use all of his blood to wash away the sin of humiliating them. It's over, it's completely over. I told you that Xiaoping was unreliable. Now even he has to die. This bastard has caused our deaths. The faces of the Lingyun sect disciples were pale. They could feel the terrifying strength of the 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons. That was a cultivation level that completely surpassed the treasure refining realm. They burned the mana in their bodies and exploded 10 times their combat power. In just an instant they could kill a treasure refining realm cultivator dozens of times. Now that 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons attacked at the same time, Xiaoping would probably die without a burial place. Whoosh! The speed of the 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons was too fast. In the blink of an eye they were in front of Xiaoping. They naturally separated and attacked in different directions. They stretched out their sharp claws and clawed down violently. Like an ancient ferocious bird, they constantly rotated and locked onto chi activity, destroying the heaven and earth into a chaotic state. This attack pierced through the void. It was vicious and exterminated all life. Even Meng Yunxiao's heart trembled. Facing the siege of 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons, he would definitely die. Dark North Protection Technique. Xia Ping stood in the void and activated Dark North Protection Technique. A tyrannical mana surged out of his body and an absolute defense appeared. It combined with the power of heaven and earth and resonated. Pitter-patter, immediately, a layer of defense appeared around his body. It was like the pattern of an ancient tortoise shell. It was also like a space barrier. Every crystal wall on it seemed to contain an ancient rune, and there was a Kunping living in the depths of it. This layer of absolute defense was much stronger than before. It was as if it operated the power of heaven and earth and absorbed the power of the world's space to enhance the absolute defense. Every tortoise shell-like crystal wall had a Kunping living in it. It was faintly discernible and constantly swam on the crystal wall, exuding the aura of ancient, chaotic, space and so on. In the depths of the void there seemed to be a huge Kunping. Even the space turned into ripples as it swam in the void. The power of heaven and earth was under its control. Rumble, the 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons attacked Xia Ping's absolute defense at the same time, and suddenly there was a crackling sound. All the shock waves were absorbed by this layer of defense, and the aftershocks of the power were also transferred to the depths of the void. This was like a Kunping absorbing endless damage, turning the power into nothingness. Impossible. The 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons were stunned. They were determined to win and thought that they could tear this human's body apart in an instant. Who would have thought that even his defense could not be broken and he was unharmed? This is the power of fiendish demons? It's so weak that it's laughable. Xia Ping's body shook and suddenly the mountains and earth shook. The world trembled, and the shadow of a golden crow of hell appeared behind him. It was as if the ruler of hell had descended to the world, dominating life and death. Chapter 14:14. You must be joking. When Meng Yunxiao and the rest saw this, they were scared out of their wits. They had thought that Xia Ping was dead for sure, that he would be torn apart by the 5 true Fire Realm demons in an instant. But what did they see? The 5 true Fire Realm demons attacked at the same time, but Xia Ping easily blocked it. It was as though he had an absolute defense. Moreover, this was not the power of a magical treasure, but purely his own martial path mystique. This was even more terrifying. Damn it, what kind of monster are you? The 5 true Fire Realm demons were stunned. They could instinctively feel the terrifying threat from Xia Ping, as though they had met a demon. This was a suppression in nature. It was different in terms of life level. I am the god of the underworld, the ruler of hell. I control the true meaning of life and death, the end of all demons. I stand in the sky of the 33 levels of hell. Supreme fantasy breeds, I grant you death. Xia Ping's words seemed to resonate with the will of the abyss. Everything within a radius of 10,000 miles trembled. Endless demonic aura rolled and the earth cracked. 100,000 demons were terrified. This was the book of life and death, the announcement of the death of the god of the underworld. All things were born unequal. Only death was equal. Death was unavoidable. Even saints would decay, fall, and turn into nothingness. Vaguely, a vision appeared behind Xia Ping. Endless demonic aura gathered, as though the god of the underworld was born. It held a death scythe and looked down, announcing death and equality for all. He actually triggered the will of the abyss. What did this human do? He's not human. He's a monster. He's the god of the underworld. Run quickly. We're no match for him. Many of the fiendish demons were panicking. It was as if their bloodlines were being suppressed, especially the 5 true Fire Realm fiendish demons. They were so scared that they peed their pants and fled into the distance. Xia Ping attacked immediately. Bloodline mystique, Hellfire Golden Crow Claw. This claw was like the claw of an ancient mythical bird. It contained the power of hell and destroyed everything. The entire world was grabbed by this claw, collapsing and turning into a black hole. The 5 true Fire Realm demons had nowhere to run. They felt as though the claw had grabbed the sky. They were like Sun Wukong in the hands of Buddha. No matter where they ran, they could not escape. Boom, the dark golden claws slashed down viciously, bombarding the 5 true Fire Realm demons. In an instant, their bodies were blown into pieces and turned into dust. When this power struck the ground, it blasted out a claw mark that was several dozen kilometers in diameter and hundreds of meters deep. Thousands of demons were killed by the shockwaves of this power. Holy shit, he killed it with just one claw. The group of Lingyun sect disciples were so scared that their eyeballs almost popped out. After all, this was a true Fire Realm demon, not some random cat or dog. Its strength was above that of an ordinary true Fire Realm human. Moreover, Xiaoping was at most in the advanced treasure refining realm. It was good enough that he was able to withstand the opponent's strength without dying. But now he was able to kill 5 true Fire Realm demons with one claw. That was a little too abnormal. No wonder he dared to come here alone. Is his strength so terrifying? Some of the Ling Yun sect disciples were trembling. They could feel the residual power of the mystique just now. Just a ripple was enough to kill countless demons. If he also stood on the opposite side of Xiaoping, he could probably pinch him to death with one finger. How is this possible? He wasn't this abnormal when he was outside. Could he have been hiding his strength before? Some of the Ling Yun sect disciples could not believe it. When Xiaoping fought Meng Yunxiao and the rest, although he was strong, he was not this overwhelmingly strong. How was this a battle? It was clearly a massacre. A treasure refining realm cultivator actually killed 5 true Fire Realm demons. Who would believe such a thing? But now it had happened right in front of them. He didn't have such strength before. Maybe his strength increased by leaps and bounds after he entered the demon continent. Meng Yunxiao revealed a trace of bitterness. He thought he still had a chance to catch up to this abnormal person. But this guy not only had terrifying combat strength, but his cultivation speed was also shockingly fast. He did not give anyone a chance to live. Seeing this, the 100,000 demons were scared half to death. Although they had the advantage in numbers, they did not feel safe at all. It was as if they were not surrounding Xiaoping, but Xiaoping was surrounding them. Such a scene was too funny. Since when were they, the abyss demons, so fierce and cruel? Now they were like rabbits, being chased by a puny human and fleeing in fear. It's too troublesome to kill them one by one. Xiaoping saw the 100,000 fiendish demons fleeing in all directions. But he was only one person and could not split himself into two. Wanting to kill all the 100,000 fiendish demons alone was beyond his capabilities. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I have such a magical weapon with me. All of a sudden, Xiaoping recalled the infinite puppet, a medium-grade spiritual weapon that he had obtained from the assassins in the Blood Soul continent. He did not have the chance to use this magical weapon before. But now, it seemed that the infinite puppet was an unparalleled weapon against this group of demons. In terms of numbers, he had many doppelgangers too. Rumble, thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately activated his spiritual power and imbued it into the infinite puppet. Immediately, a mysterious and ancient formation appeared on it. In an instant, the infinite puppet was splitting up at a rapid rate. 10, 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. In the end, the entire mountain was filled with puppets. Mountains, valleys, and even the sky. Upon closer inspection, there were a total of 600,000 puppets. It was as though the number of golden crow cells that Xiaoping awakened was equivalent to the number of doppelgangers that the infinite puppet could produce. Moreover, each puppet doppelganger had a portion of Xiaoping's power. Some even had the power of the golden crow mystical fire. This made the strength of the puppet doppelgangers extremely terrifying. 600,000 puppets. That was a terrifying number. Once there were more than 10,000 of them, they would cover the entire mountain. And 600,000 puppets would be an army of 600,000. In ancient China, this was a force that could sweep through the entire country. Kill them. Xiaoping ordered the puppets. He did not need to do anything to deal with these little fiendish demons. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 600,000 puppets moved immediately. Their eyes glowed with golden light and they charged at the 100,000 demons in all directions. Previously, it had been 100,000 demons surrounding the humans. But now it was 600,000 puppets surrounding the demons. These puppets even had the power of the mystical fire, which was the nemesis of these demons. The puppets had an overwhelming advantage and this was a one-sided massacre. Chapter 14-15. Oh my god, what kind of magical treasure is that? How can it split into so many clones? It's like an army. Even though the Ling Yun sect disciples were knowledgeable, they had never seen such a powerful magical treasure. It was terrifying to be able to split into 600,000 clones. Each of Kuei Li's doppelgangers possessed terrifying battle prowess. One of the doppelgangers charged forward and punched out, instantly piercing through a demon's body. Following that, the demon screamed in agony as it was burned alive. The demons tried to tear the puppets apart, but it was useless. These puppets were immortal. Once an arm was torn off, it would recover in a few breaths' time. Against these undying puppets, those fiendish demons were truly unlucky. If I'm not wrong, this should be a magical treasure created by the puppet sect, which has disappeared since the ancient times. It's called the infinite puppet. Meng Yunxiao's eyes lit up. An infinite puppet like this is equivalent to an army. The stronger the master of the infinite puppet is, the more powerful the infinite puppet is, and the more puppets it can split into. For an ordinary person, it would be amazing to split into 10 puppets. 100 would be considered a genius, and 1,000 would be considered a monster. But Brother Xia has split into 600,000 puppets. I don't know what to say. He laughed bitterly. He was completely convinced. No matter how stupid the disciples of the Lingyun sect were, they knew how terrifying this was. To be able to create 600,000 puppets, one could imagine the density of the spiritual power in this boy's body. It had definitely reached an abnormal level and was not something that ordinary people could compare with. After all, an ordinary person's spiritual power would be almost depleted if they split into 10 puppets. Is this a disciple of a sage? How can the difference be so huge? Some of the Lingyun sect disciples were in despair. They thought that they were not too far away from the disciple of a sage and had a chance of catching up. Who would have thought that the difference was so huge? This was not a difference of a few hundred kilometers. It was a difference between dimensions. They were not on the same level. Not every disciple of a sage is so abnormal. Even among the disciples of a sage, Brother Xia is probably at the top. Meng Yunxiao shook his head and said helplessly. He had also seen the disciples of the sages. Although they were all monsters, there was still a huge gap between them and Xiaoping. The disciples of the sages are already crazy enough. Now, the disciples of the sages are divided into different levels. Are they still giving us ordinary people a way out? The group of Lingyun sect disciples was speechless. They didn't know what to say. Brother Meng. Just at that moment, figures immediately flew over from the distance. They were LV1 Ho and the other Qingkuan sect disciples who had arrived late. They also landed in front of Meng Yunxiao and the others. One by one they went up to greet him. Even if there were some conflicts before, they could no longer be bothered about it now. Why are you so late? Meng Yunxiao and the rest asked curiously. Because Xiaoping had been there for a long time, this group of people had finally arrived. What's late? We tried our best to catch up to you, but Brother Xia's speed was too fast. We couldn't catch up at all. Kor and the others said in a bad mood. They were out of breath. In order to catch up to Xiaoping, they had to choke. This was not because they were incompetent, but because that guy was too abnormal. Right? How's the situation? LV1 Ho asked. How else can it be? Brother Xia has finished them all. Not a single demon is left. Meng Yunxiao and the others pouted, indicating for LV1 Ho and the others to look into the distance. At this moment, the 100,000 demons had all been killed by the puppets. The corpses of the demons were piled up like a mountain. Blood flowed like a river and the place was filled with the stench of blood. Huge pits appeared in the surrounding ground. It was like the surface of the moon. There were holes everywhere and there were also many flames that burned fiercely. Damn, they are finished so quickly again? I haven't even used my strength yet. Kor and the others were speechless. They also wanted to help, but who would have thought that these demons would fall before they could even do anything? They were all very helpless. After all, they were Qingkuan sect disciples with decent strength and some talent. But now they could only be salted fish at the side, waving flags and cheering. Boom. At this moment, Xiaoping retracted the infinite puppets. After all, using these treasures consumed a lot of spiritual power. At the same time, he placed all 100,000 demon cores into the space of the mountain and river pearl. It had to be said that the infinite puppets were of great help. These puppets were not afraid of death and were strong enough. They were very useful in clearing out these small fries. Beep beep. At this moment, the communication devices of Meng Yunxiao and the others rang. It was a distress call from a disciple of the Five Elements sect. Brothers of the Lingyun sect, please save us. We are being chased by hundreds of thousands of demons at XX place. We are in grave danger. If you still have some strength left, please help us and help us escape. We will definitely repay you in the future. But this was just the beginning. The alarm on the communication devices rang. The disciples of the Guiyuan sect and Flying Celestial sect also sent out distress signals. They were also in danger and were being chased by a large number of demons. Hua Yang, Li Paoang and Shiranchang were also seriously injured and were in danger. Brother Xia. Meng Yunxiao and the others couldn't help but look at Xiaoping. Because only Xiaoping had the ability to save these people. Even if they really went to help, they would only be killed by the demons. I can save them. Each sect needs 20 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs. Xia Ping stretched out 2 fingers. Fuck despicable Xia. Each sect needs 20 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs. Why don't you just rob them? This is too much. You are robbing a burning house. Get out of here immediately. You want 20 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs? You're crazy about money. I would rather die than ask for your help. You shameless bastard who values money as much as your life. Hearing this, the disciples of the 5 Elements sect, the Guiyuan sect, and the Flying Celestial sect all screamed. They were furious. This was extortion and blatant robbery. Moreover, each sect had 20 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs. 3 sects would have 60. How much wealth was this? Did he really think 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs were carrots? This bastard had such a big appetite. Wasn't he afraid of being stuffed to death? The Lingyun sect disciples' mouths twitched. Previously, they had only received 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs. Now they had doubled the price. Thinking about it, they had earned quite a lot. If you don't agree, then forget it. Just wait for your death. Xia Ping wasn't interested in negotiating with them. Brother Meng, help us. The disciples of the 3 sects looked at Meng Yunxiao with wide eyes. I'm sorry. If Brother Xia doesn't help, I can't do anything. This is not a rescue but a suicide mission. Meng Yunxiao apologized. Although he also wanted to ask for help, he couldn't even protect himself now. How could he save others? The disciples of the Guiyuan sect, the Flying Celestial sect, and the 5 Elements sect were all furious. Now only Xia Ping had the ability to save them. If Xia Ping didn't help, they would definitely die. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.